Eagles. Eagles.
Welcome in, everybody, to the JAKIB Postgame Show, Week 18 edition, and your Philadelphia Eagles finished the year 14-3. Big Sills with a 20-13 win today over the New York Football Giants. Tanner McKee played pretty good out there, but 14 wins. What a season! What a regular season for the Philadelphia Eagles. Welcome in, everybody, to the JAKIB Postgame Show. I'm your host, Zander Krause. You see Big Sills over there with a grin on his face, ready to talk to John McMullen later on in the show. Big Sills, what'd you think of that game with Tanner McKee?
Holy cow, man. Tanner season. Wow. Tanner, man. They finally look like a passing offense out there, man. I really thought, you made a comment prior to that, man. When you were talking about Kellen Moore, it gives him an opportunity to really show you what he can do with spreading the ball around. And you got to say this. I'll tell you what I took away from it. Not only did he show you that he knows exactly what he's doing with the football, but he made common guys look good. Yeah. He made guys like Amos Smith, and he made guys like Dotson. Dotson. By the way, who's that guy with 94 yards? Holy shit, man. I know he's in a different role, like we said, but what do you have? 8 different targets in the ball game? I thought he was exceptional. If you're the Philadelphia Eagles, you walk out of that game going, hey, all kidding aside here, man, the kid can fucking play.
Yeah, he's a player. He's a player. Yep, he's a 6th-round guy that can play. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I don't think you have to go overboard. Oh, he should be the starter. But look, he can play. And Sills, I put it out there, and it's all fun and games. We like talk, joke, and Tanner, man, and all these funny things. He legitimately looked good to me. He legitimately impressed me as an NFL quarterback. The way he stood in the pocket, I thought he maneuvered the pocket well. I thought he handled the pressure well. There's some moments there where you see he's not so great at throwing on the run. There's some moments there where the arm strength looks a little bit lacking. Some of those balls don't come out fast, but he's accurate. He maneuvers the pocket well, and he can deliver a ball, man. I was impressed by what he did today.
Yeah, but I'll say this. One of those reasons that you're saying that is because that's lack of reps.
Yeah,
that's not because he can't do it. That's just because he doesn't get the reps that. Remember something, Zander? He's a 13 guy. He's not the second team guy, so he doesn't get the reps like the first team guy. Right. That comes with more playing time, in my opinion. By the way, I tell you this, Dallas Goedert looked fucking great. Okay, if he can play like that in the postseason, he is going to be a big-time weapon going forward. But again, I'm going to say it one more time to you. There's no question that Jalen Hurts, and again, I'm not saying this just for what I saw today. I'm saying this, period. Jalen Hurts doesn't spread the ball around like a common quarterback does in the NFL, and I don't care who that is. That could be Drew Lock or anybody. So he's kind of limited on what he does, and in being able to spread the ball around. That kid right there spread the ball around, man, and that's what that Kellen Moore offense is supposed to look like. And I'll say it again, man. I mean, we'll see how Jalen plays this weekend coming up, and it looks like it's going to be Green Bay. So we'll find out, man. I'll tell you what, he's been off for about 2.5 weeks. You know, he's been in that concussion protocol, which means this, Xander, the only practice that he got was that walkthrough, yesterday, and he's really not been there with the football team. So, boy, I bet they better not lay an egg in this one, man, because they've got a lot of things ahead of them, and they got a pretty good football team. I thought Vic even called a good game with all the backups. I thought the DTs didn't play all that awful. There was some pressure. I mean, remember something. These are second and third team scout team guys. Right. These are practice squad guys. I think
you have to factor that in, too, when you analyze Tanner. I mean, he's throwing the backups. He's got a backup offensive line. By the way, shout out to the offensive line, man. Backups, and they still look pretty good. Obviously not the starters, but they look pretty good from what I saw. They look better
than the New York Giants starting offensive line, and those were their starters.
Yeah, now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let everybody know, and thank you all for being here. Appreciate you all watching the postgame show. Don't forget to hit the like button. Sills, we got a couple things going on right now while we do the show. I got the iPad to the side so I can keep everybody posted. Commanders are in field goal range. If Commanders get the field goal and win the game versus Dallas, we're going to play the Green Bay Packers. The Packers have the lead as well. So if the Packers win the game and the Commanders, for whatever reason, don't get in here and score, we're going to be playing the Commanders. I will keep you guys posted on what happens in those games.
Excellent.
Commanders are down to 15 seconds left on the clock, but looks like they're going to have a short field goal to ice that or to send that game to overtime. It's 19-16. So if they get into the end zone, they'll win it. But I'll keep everybody posted on that. Big Sills, anything else stick out to you? What else stuck out to you from that game today? What other players stuck out to you? I have a couple in mind, but I want to hear what you have to say about, what you saw from today's Eagles backup game.
I like the way Shipley played.
Yeah, he runs hard, man.
He runs hard, and I'll tell you what he reminds me of. Again, he's not the player that McCaffrey is, but he's got a skill set like that. He can run in between the tackles hard, and he can catch the football. Again, I'm not comparing him to his career, but a skill set. He's pretty good with his hands. He's a really good back out of the backfield. I thought he blocked well. I thought he did all the components that were pretty good in there. I thought Gainwell ran hard as well. I'll tell you, Fred Johnson had another good game.
Yeah.
He's a good football player, man.
You know who stood out to me a little today?
Tell me.
Jordan Davis.
Yeah, Jordan
Davis
made some
plays. I'm not going to,
I saw flash plays. I did.
Yeah, he had some flash
plays. Those were the Giants offensive line starters.
Yeah. So we'll see. I thought he played pretty good. A couple other guys. I thought Trotter Jr. played good. I think he led the team in tackles. Last time I checked, he was leading the team in tackles. Still got some stuff to clean up, but I thought he was pretty good today too.
Yeah, absolutely. Couple times behind and couple false steps out there, but I thought for sure that he played pretty well. Again, there were times when I saw some false steps. What I didn't see though from the Eagles that kind of stood out was, Zander, going into the postseason, the pressure on the quarterback. To me, the pressure on the quarterback, that has to be something to be concerned about. You can't fix it now because we're here. This is week 18. You're going into the postseason with what you have right now. So we'll see. It looks like, from what I'm understanding, looks like the Eagles are going to play Green Bay.
Yeah, both of those games just concluded. So Chicago beats Green Bay on a field goal. Washington gets a touchdown and with 2 seconds left to Terry McLaurin. So Green Bay, the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Green Bay Packers will be the round 1 playoff game, baby.
Hey, and here's a significant thing to that. Love got hurt in that game.
Yeah, he was back, but he did.
He got banged up in that ball game too, so keep that in mind. By the way, I promised at least 5 of these throughout the post game. Dotson, I'll tell you what, man. Hey, he showed up, man. I was
94 yards. I wanted him to get over 100.
How about this? I was happy for him, man. The kid, I'm really happy. Man. He had 5. He had 12 catches rolling into this game.
Yeah, he had 7 today with 11 targets.
No shit, that's outstanding. Good for him, man.
Yep, and the other thing that just happened in the NFL world is the Titans clinched the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft. So will they take Sanders? Will they take Cam Ward? Will they take Travis Hunter? Well, what will they do? That will be interesting to see how that goes. So
or trade it.
Listen, I know we got a game to talk about. It's a post-game show, but right now my sights are shifting, Sills. I'm ready to go for the postseason, baby. Green Bay Packers coming to Philly. Welcome to the Thunderdome, Green Bay. You might be able to beat the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas in the playoffs. Can you handle the city of brotherly love? Can you handle Philly, Jordan Love, and Little LaFleur? I don't know.
I'm a little bit nervous about only one player heading into this weekend, and that's Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong about that either. 2 weeks off.
And I mean the time off.
Yeah.
And the inconsistency all year in the passing game. I'm a little nervous heading into that game because let's think about one thing Green Bay has. Green Bay has a prolific running back, okay? And they have a quarterback who can keep that offense off the field. I think this is going to be interesting to see how much rust is going to be on. And again, a very limited passing game when he's in there, period. How this is going to play out and when, by the way, he comes off that concussion protocol. I'm assuming, Zander, that he's going to come off it Monday so that they can get a full week to practice.
Yeah, that's what I would assume as well. And we'll get some clarification on that from John McMullen. But it does look like, they were reporting now that he was out at the walkthrough So Jalen Hurts should be ready to go for next week. And it'll be interesting to see how this game plays out, man. I like the matchup right now, though. I feel good about it. I don't think Green Bay's playing their best football right now. They obviously just lost to the Bears, but they just haven't looked the same in the last couple of weeks. And I think it's a favorable matchup for the Birds.
I told you, man, I think their defense is suspect. I mean, it's been suspect all year, especially outside Xavier McKinney. I think they've been suspect on them corners all year. I mean, and then if I'm not mistaken, too, didn't Christian Watson end up getting banged up and carted off in that game, too? So you lose.
Non-contact, too.
It went, well, then it's totally a problem heading into this week. Doubtful, probably, for this coming up game here. So, hey, man, that's a good matchup then. You got a banged-up Green Bay team, but I would not take anybody lightly right now. The Eagles have to worry about what they're going to be able to do against this football team, Green Bay. One more time, my biggest concern is the elite quarterback, Jalen Hurts, especially after I watched what Tanner Manning did today, man. I want to see this guy be able to walk in there and win this game. It's going to be an interesting week.
Yeah, well, listen, there's certainly different styles of quarterbacks. That's very evident with the way they play. And
so's the play caller very evident.
Oh man, did I say that on the pregame show or what? I said he might have a little pass happy approach this week because he likes to pass the ball, and they've been running it a lot this year. And 41 attempts for Tanner McKee today, Sills. That's a lot of it. I don't know if Jalen Hurts has had 41 attempts this year.
How about this? Did you see that other number? That the 163 yards in the first half was the most by any quarterback in the first half all year long. I mean, and again, you're going to go like this. Well, it was the shitty Giants. Well, he's playing with all backups. This guy was making backups look good.
No,
I was really impressed with the kid.
Yeah, I was too. I thought he had a great game today, Tanner McKee. And I think he's given the Eagles something to think about with the quarterback 2 spot. I think you could potentially trade Pickett, or maybe even if someone came calling for Tanner, I think you have options there, and that's always a good place to be. Let's read Jason A-Team. Appreciate everybody watching the show today. Birds finish 14-3 on the year, everybody. That's a damn good regular season for this team. Jason A-Team says 14-3. What a year it was. JAKIB is king. Jahan Dotson. Goddard looks ready. Sidney Brown. Luck is awesome. So hyped for him. Ajomo, most underrated of the year. And watch out for Trot Jr. Let's kick some ass. McKee money. I like it, A-Team. Good stuff, brother.
How about this, Zander? Here's the seating as of right now. Before that, the Vikings-Detroit game tonight. Right now, it's Lions 1, Eagles 2, Rams 3, and in the 4 hole, still to be determined on that Buck game. Now,
the Bucks are up right now by 8, and I think the Falcons are tied. So that if the
Bucks win, they win it.
It's over, or the Falcons lose. Yeah,
that's right. So right now, that's still out there for waiting to see how this game finishes. The Vikings or the Lions would fall in that 5 hole. And as you said, right now, Commanders are sitting in the 6 hole, and the Green Bay Packers are sitting in that 7 hole right now. So it would be Packers and Eagles, and it would be Commanders and Rams. And then the Vikings it would be the Packers and Eagles. Then it would be Commanders and Rams, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so it should be a pretty good playoff, good-looking playoff in the NFC. We'll see how it all plays out. Jarrell Ray says, Sileo, what the F are you talking about? Elite is about to show up. Woo! Belt to ass. Green Bay barbecue chicken with the sweet
2903. If we extrapolated out the numbers for Tanner Manning, he'd throw for $4,000 and 30 touchdowns. Wait a minute. So this guy had 4 touchdown passes in 6 quarters of play? Is that right? Holy shit. 4 TD passes. And what was John McMullen talking about in the pregame show? Drew Lock ain't better. Drew Lock's a bum.
Drew Lock is a bum. He was 22 at 29 today for 138, a touchdown.
Hey, I'm a waker you. It ain't no crow season until you hoist the Vince Lombardi Trophy, Junior. You ain't won dick yet, guy. Remember that. Only thing you won is admiration.
I'll tell you what, 14-3. Big Z was pretty close on the win prediction.
I'll tell you what,
I was laughed off the show by not only you, but McMullen as well. You're an Eagle homer. Eagle-colored glasses.
14-3.
Truth,
you better
justice, and the Big Z way.
You better win it. You better win it. Get this. You know what he's just done? He's just done this. Super Bowl or bust.
Oh, there's no doubt.
How you doing?
There's no doubt. What did you think of seeing Saquon Barkley on the sideline today?
I thought it was bullshit. I mean, you're telling me that Giant team, who kind of played hard, wouldn't have had that 100 yards in the first half. Screw that. In the first quarter, he'd have had 90 yards in the first quarter if you would have played. Can you imagine if the Eagles played the starters against that Giants team? They would have put 60 points on them.
I know.
The backups beat them. Dude, if you're Brian Dable, second and third team Eagle guys beat your frontline guys. Came out Thibodeau and everybody was out there. Brian Burns and all them dudes were out there. You're like, they got a long way to go right now, man.
They do.
They got a long way to go, the Giants.
Yeah, they absolutely do. Birds win 20-13, everybody. Sills, who else stood out to you in this game, man? It was Anais Smith made some plays in the game. How about that? He was running pretty hard, made some good plays in the passing game.
Well, when you have a passer that can get the ball to people and you can develop other guys, Zander.
Well, there's certainly no doubt that these things look way different, don't they? I mean, it looked way different today.
That coordinator looked different. The skill set people look different. Hell, I'll tell you what. You know what else looked good too? Like you mentioned. Hey, man, when you have a shitty quarterback back there, look at a Giant offensive line with Drew Lock back there versus Tanner McKee back there and the second team Eagle O-line. I'll tell you what. What I really liked also was looking over at the offensive line on the sidelines and how they all sitting together there and they're all congregating, talking. I guarantee you know what they're saying? We should have fucking rushed for the record. We should have rushed for the record. That's my feeling and how that thing looked. They should have rushed for the record.
Dude, we might have got that record in one quarter if we needed to
man.
with that crappy Giants team. That team is putrid, just a bad football team.
Bad football team.
Yeah, I don't think Brian Dable should be back.
No way. He'll be back as a coordinator somewhere, but he will not be back as the head coach. And why should he be back too? Hey, I always disagree with that. I disagreed with John when John was on the pregame show when he said, hey, man, I think these guys are all tied together. Howie's not tied to Nick. Howie's not tied to anybody. Yeah, okay? I mean, maybe if you look at Brett Veach and Andy, well, Andy brought him there. That was an Andy Reid hire, Brett Veach in Kansas City. That wasn't a Clark Hunt, the owner of the Chiefs, that a guy who he brought in. That's not what that was. Got to tell you, man, again, I thought that was pretty impressive, the way they went out there and played. Hey, man, I got to say this too about Nick. The guy fucked up the field goal again, and he missed it, Elliott. And then at the end of the game, instead of going for it, which he probably would have if he had Hurts in, what did he do? He brought the kicker out, and he had the kicker kick the field goal. I think he wants some positive mental attitude for the kid.
I thought
that was a good play.
I agree 100%. And I think that was completely about that and not about trying to ice that game. I think he wanted Jake Elliott to get out there and kick. And that was the right move. And by the way, an all-time good football story. And if you're like me and you like football, Mike Evans, I just watched the Buccaneers came back onto the field. They had basically already won the game. And they get Mike Evans the 18 yards he needed to eclipse 1,000. And he ends the season with 1,003 yards. So big congrats to Mike Evans for an 11th straight season.
Breaks Rice's record.
No, Rice has for a straight
consecutive
14 total, right? He broke
for consecutive. He's the first person in NFL history to go 11 consecutive years of over $1,000. And I'll tell you what, maybe some of the most underappreciated yards. Let's not forget something here, Zander. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's been doing it for decades. And people have always looked at it. When you talked about the best wide receivers in pro football, would you put Mike Evans' name in the best wide receiver over the last decade? You probably would go, he's got that many yards. He has done that many times. I mean, maybe one of the most underappreciated football players in the league is Mike Evans.
Yeah, it really is so true. But he's one of my favorite players. And I know he's on a rival. He's on an opponent we don't like, but I do like the player. So I was happy to see him get that 1,000 yards. So good stuff for Mike Evans. So the playoffs are set with the exception of the Buccaneers will now play the loser of tonight's Sunday Night Football game. The Commanders are going to play.
Hosting them too, Zander. Hosting them.
Right, exactly. in Tampa Bay. The Rams are going to play the Commanders, and we're going to play the Packers. So those are going to be your first 3 games in the NFC. It should be good stuff all around for that one. So looking forward to that. Kenny Gainwell played a lot today, Big Sills. He had 11 carries, only 14 yards, but I was surprised they kept putting him back out there late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they put him back out there because they wanted to get a guy who was kind of reliable in being able to have the ball in his hand, because they wanted to. I thought when they put him back in, there was only one reason they put him back in, is just because they felt comfortable with him carrying the football, that he wouldn't put it on the turf and have a turnover. How about this too, Zander? Let me take a look at one stat here, team-wise, which is fucking unbelievable if this is the true stat of this game here on what these guys did for a team, because this would tell me about really great coaching. And I look down here. Am I right when I say this, that the Eagles had no penalties? Am I right? Or they had one. They had one penalty for no yards. That's a well-coached team with backup second and third team guys. You had one penalty in the ball game for no yards. That's incredibly well done. That is a really well-coached football game with guys who don't get reps. And if I'm not mistaken, they didn't have any turnovers, so you had no penalties, really. Yeah. And you had no turnovers in a game with all backups. That's a well-coached football game right there with the people that you have. And you've got to, once again, that was one of the better coached football games of the year for Nick and his offense and his defensive coaches. They really did a great job with the limited talent they had on the field.
Yeah, and I like the no turnovers. I mean, before the game on the pregame show, you joked.
No, I did. I thought 6.
And I thought you were right in terms of just the backups, but only one turnover in the game total, and that came late, obviously, by Drew Lock. So Birds get the win, 20-13. Big Sills.
How do you feel about them heading into the playoffs as a unit?
I feel really good, but I'm not gonna. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, as I always am. I'm with you. The one concern I have is Jalen Hurts. And it's not as much about his play. It's more about, is he rusty? Is he going to be in rhythm? You know, some of those things. How's the offense going to look coming into this game next week? That's the one concern I have. Now, I do think they'll get over that quickly. So if they can keep the Packers off the board in the first quarter, another team that starts slow, by the way, I think it'll be good. But I think the team is healthy, and they won 14 games this year. They're ready to rumble.
How much pressure is on Nick and Jalen heading into this year?
I think the most amount of pressure is on Nick. If you go one and done this year, there was already a report that came out from Jeremy Fowler who said if they go one and done, they could look to move on from Nick. I don't know how they could do that with 48 wins in his first 4 seasons, but that's what the report is. So I think the pressure's on Nick, man.
I'll tell you this too, man. If Jalen Hurts goes out there and he flops around, and you see what hold on, Kenny Pickett, and Tanner Manning, and you see average guys. Okay, let me ask you this. How do you think Tanner McKee would play for a full season with starters?
I think he would play pretty good.
You think he looks like Sam Darnold?
Oh, that's really good. I don't know about that. I think
wait a minute. Did you think Sam Darnold was going to – you still don't trust Sam Darnold.
I'm starting to trust Sam Darnold. Well, I just don't think you can throw for 4,300 yards in an NFL season, win 14 games. And by the way, in the NFC North, which is the best division in football this year, I got to give him credit.
But
man.
I'm still going to do this, though. Hey, dude, he's never been in a playoff game in his entire fucking life. You want me to sit here and go like this? Hey, man, that guy had a really great regular season. All of a sudden, this guy doesn't turn into a pumpkin. Hey, man, I got to tell you, I'm with you. Every week, he put more assets and more equity behind what his season was. But let's do this. We all agree. This is about the postseason here too, man. I mean, when I look at him and I go, well, what's he going to look like? I don't know. That to me is always when you have an unknown, okay? Jalen Hurts, watch this. What do you think of Jalen Hurts in the postseason, Sills? I don't know. He's gotten to a Super Bowl and he played great in the game. I mean, I could land on that pod. You know what I mean? I can't land on any pod with Darnold in the postseason. I don't know. Okay. I mean, golf, I can. 2 NFC title games, a Super Bowl. He's taken 2 different teams to conference champ. You can land on something with that. With Sam Darnold, I'm like this. I don't know. Even Jordan Love, dude. Hey, went into Dallas last year as a first-year starter, blew out the Cowboys. There's something to land on. With Darnold, maybe that's to his advantage, just like it was with Foles. Nobody knew what to expect. And I think maybe that's really something, too, that Minnesota leans on.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right about that. Who do you think wins that game tonight? That's going to be a great game, Sills. That's one of the ones I'm obviously really excited about watching.
Man, I tell you, man, you mentioned the point. I thought it was in Minnesota, but, I said earlier, Minnesota, but it's in Detroit. It's at Ford Field.
Yeah.
Damn. And here, they're working on a short work week, Detroit. They ended up playing really well last week, Minnesota. Darnold threw for 377 and 3 touchdowns last week. Golf was insane as well. I think this is going to be a high-scoring football game tonight. I think you're going to see teams in the 30s tonight. And I'll say this, I think the last possession, whoever has the ball, I think wins the ball game. I think that's who wins it. And if I have to do this, I'm going to backtrack on this here, Zander. I think because it's at home at Ford Field, I think the Lions win this ball game because I think they have enough on that defensive side. However, Minnesota's playing better ball and they're healthier in this ball game than what Detroit is. This is going to be one of the better games of the year because I've never seen this. 28-4 between two teams in the final week of the season to determine home field advantage. I'm not sure I've ever seen that before.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I wonder if the winner or the loser of that game, who's going to fall to the 5 seed, I wonder if that's going to have any bearing on when the Eagles play. Because remember, they could be on Saturday or Sunday next week, and you might wonder if the Vikings, let's say the Vikings lose tonight, they might put them on Sunday.
I know you might put them on a Saturday because they're the 2 seed and put the second highest rated team on a Saturday and the number 1 rated team on Sunday, Lions or Vikings.
Yeah, I want the Sunday game.
I don't think you're going to play the top 2 seeds on Sunday. I just don't. Okay? You got to spread it around. I think wait a minute. The top seed wouldn't play. Minnesota would play. Maybe no, Zander, that's right. Detroit wouldn't play because they get the bye. They'll play I believe that they'll play the Eagles Sunday. For the wild card, because they've got a 14 win, they'll play Sunday. Okay? Could they play Monday? Is there a Monday night game?
I think there is.
Okay. Could you play Monday night?
Let me look. I'll look at the wild card schedule. There is a Monday game. Monday game. So
they may drop the Eagles on that Monday night game.
Yeah, there's 2 games Saturday. There's 3 games on Sunday, and then there's a game on Monday night. So it'll be interesting to see where we fall on that. Let's go to a couple super chats from the great people. We appreciate all of you guys in the chat today. Big win, everybody. 14-3. That's the Philadelphia Eagles record for the year. Big Sales doesn't want to hear it, but 14 wins is a damn good season.
14 wins. Nice job, guys. There you go.
Josh Herman, here we go. Sills will like this one. Put him in with the starters. I want a QB controversy. Wishbone.
We have one. Are you kidding? We have one.
No, we don't.
Well, I'll tell you what. If he loses, we will.
All right, you have my word. If he gets bounced in round 1 and he doesn't look good, everything's on the table. This team is too talented, man. I just watched Tanner McKee throw for nearly 300 yards with Jahan Dotson.
There's number 3, Dotson. Hey, Zander, I'm gonna tell you, man. Okay, nothing's nothing until it's something. I'm just gonna go Jalen Hurts on you here, bro. That team 14-3 gets bounced, and all of a sudden you see 29-03 and 18. That's his new nickname, 29-03. You better hope that guy does not lose. I'll tell you this. I won't even give that guy the benefit of the doubt if he loses the NFC title game. You can't have that, man. You can't have a guy with $2,000.
It depends how it looks, though, right? I mean, if you lose like the Lions did last year in the title game, you can live with it, but you're not going to.
Oh, you're going to live with it.
If he comes up and drops a stinker, yeah, it's a different story.
Okay, hold on.
Listen, you can play good games, Sills, and lose. I mean, look at the Super Bowl. Jalen played amazing in that game and lost. If Jalen looks like that, nobody's calling for anything. If you can't pass the ball and you get 110 yards passing, yeah, there's going to be conversation.
Got this, guys. Listen what Big Z just said. If they don't get it done the last 3 years, 39-12, and they don't deliver anything, how you doing? Okay, good, all right. Hey, you get those consolation prizes? And you turn out to be like Hillary Clinton getting the Presidential Medal of Freedom at the participation trophy. How you doing?
A-team checks in. He says Fred Johnson, Keegan, and Steen are NFL starters. Eagles' O-line depth is way better than expected. They all deserve money. Yeah, it's a credit to Stout you, man. But you're right. You're right, A-team.
Absolutely. I thought the O-line played really well, man.
Yeah, I thought they did too. Riding the bench checks in. He says Tanner showed what the offense looks when it's on schedule. McKee proved, in my opinion, he's better than Kenny. I agree.
Hey, they're going to move on from Kenny Small Hands Pickett.
All right, let me ask you a question.
I'll tell you what, also, too, you mentioned something to me throughout the year that it was evident on. The height of Hurts versus the height of McKee. I think he sees over those guys being 6'6" like that.
6'6", dude.
Okay, but you know what they lose? They lose the tush push. That guy looks so unathletic in that tush push. Yeah. McKee today. Hey, dude, that thing would be put to retirement if he was a starting quarterback. They lose a lot in that because he looked very unathletic doing that tush push.
Now, the Eagles aren't going to make this move, but I'll ask you it anyway. The Eagles will use Kenny Pickett as their backup quarterback.
Yes.
You don't think they would think about maybe making Tanner McKee the number 2 and then putting Kenny as the?
You know why would you think they would never do that? Because they want to move him and keep the equity and the value of him going into that. Now, if the game popped up, the question
I don't know. Can we just run through a scenario here? If Jalen got hurt next week, who would you feel better about coming into the game? I'd feel better about McKee.
I do too. However, he's not yet. And so what they're going to do is, even if they're going to keep him 3, Zander, they could still do this. Okay, we're going to put McKee in, but have Pickett in the 2-hole. They don't want to lose the value in the offseason of moving the guy because he's going to get an opportunity. Some team is going to call the Eagles because the Eagles are going to be willing to move him.
Eagles just put out a message, a 300th win for Jeffrey Lurie. Today marks the 300th of Chairman. Today's win marks the 300th of Jeffrey Lurie's ownership, including playoffs. There you go, Sills.
Yeah, and he's 17-17 in the playoffs since 2000. He's got 1 Super Bowl and he's 1-2. Very underachieving guy.
Any update? No update yet. I'm going to try and look. I'm obviously doing the show. So if you guys in the chat see something, keep me posted. Do me a favor and keep me posted. I don't know if they put out when the Eagles will play, but we're all curious to see when they do play that game.
I think it's Monday or Sunday.
I have a feeling that the Vikings are going to be Monday or Vikings or Lions. One of those two is going to get the Monday or Sunday because they're playing Sunday night and they played all their starters this week versus the Eagles kind of had a bye. So they might put them at Saturday.
Let me ask you this, okay? Let me ask you this here.
Humper says Sunday game, though, so I'm not sure if he's right, but we'll see.
How about this? I mean, how do you feel about the chairman winning his 300th game? How do you think his tenure's been as owner?
Well, when you're comparing him to previous,
this will be a huge topic for me on Monday.
Yeah, I mean, he's the only owner I've ever seen, but I've heard about owners in the past that sucked. Obviously, I've read about them all in my Eagles encyclopedia that I use, but he wins a lot. Now, you haven't ultimately won as many championships as you like, but I think he does a lot of things well. I think he does a lot of things poorly, and I think certain things that happened in his tenure affected him in negative ways, such as Chip Kelly, where he gave up all the power to somebody. They didn't take care of his team, and I don't blame him. He didn't like that. So now he doesn't like to give up full power. He likes to keep his hand on everything, and I think that ultimately does more bad than good. But overall, I think he's been a fine owner. He's not my favorite dude in the world, I'm not going to lie to you, but he's been a pretty good owner.
Chairman Mao has done a really nice job. He really has done a nice job.
It can be a dictatorship, though.
He
owns the fucking thing.
Hey,
let me ask you this: is it a dictatorship in the Sileo household? What you say goes.
No. What my wife says goes.
See, okay, I can't relate. What I say goes in my house.
That's Mrs. Chairman Mao in our house. Okay, I mean, so just to let you know, no, dude, guess what? I'm a serf. Okay, I'm a peasant. So no, I'm just saying. I mean, look, okay, hey, 300th win. This is how I look at it as a guy looking down at all you. A land of Munchkinville down there in Philadelphia. This is how I look at you Munchkin Philadelphians. I look down and go, Hey, man, this guy keeps you around the rim. He wins a lot of football games. There is no question about it. It's a winning franchise, but it's not a championship franchise. Do you think he's anything in the room with Bob Kraft?
Not even close. Bob Kraft has 6 titles.
But not only that, remember prior to that, he also got the football team to a Super Bowl with Parcells, and they ended up winning an NFC title.
Is there any owner in the room with Kraft?
What?
Is there any owner that's in the room with Kraft?
He's not in the Hall of Fame.
Jeffrey Lurie?
No, Bob Kraft's not.
Oh, he will be.
He was passed over twice already.
I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. I mean, to me, when you have that many Super Bowls, what the hell more do you need to get into the Hall of Fame as a winner?
Hey, I think maybe you need to stay out of the massage parlors in Orlando.
Right. That might be more about it. Might be more about the massage parlor than anything. So
No, actually, all kidding aside, I think 300 wins shows you that. Get this, you don't lose a lot. Okay, and anytime there's a problem, you know what 300 wins to me means? That, dude, have you guys had back-to-back losing seasons? When's the last time the Eagles have had back-to-back losing seasons?
Back-to-back. Let's see. I know we won, 4 or 6 games after Chip Kelly on his last year. We won 4 games on Doug's last year, but then we bounced back 9 and 7. Back-to-back losing seasons might have been a long time ago, man.
I don't remember the Eagles having back-to-back losing seasons where franchises have back-to-back losing seasons. What does that represent to me? Well, if there's a problem, they fix it immediately. And I think that has a lot to do with Howie and that salary.
Brandon's right. I think it was Andy's last 2 years.
Andy's last 2 years, and part of the probably one of the reasons why he got fired, because they didn't see it getting turned around, and they wanted that thing turned around because, dude, I don't remember the Eagles having like consecutive losing seasons like that.
No, they don't do it often.
They don't do that often, man.
So there's no doubt we're a winning organization.
Man. Oh, absolutely.
And where I think you're right is we're not championship yet. We got 1 title, and it was with backups. It wasn't done based on us assembling the best roster. It was kind of one of those.
Zander, if you win another championship, I put you in the category with the Ravens.
I agree.
Ravens only have 2. I'd put you in the Ravens.
I agree.
And by the way, I think the Ravens are one of the top 5 winning organizations in all of football. I would put Jeffrey in that Steve Biscotti room with the Ravens, because then you start validating the 300 wins with 2 Super Bowls. 2 Super Bowls in what, 4 appearances? I got to tell you, man, that would validate a lot of that if they're able to get that done.
Yeah, we'll see what goes on here. Brian Pumper says, Tanner McKee, QB1. Thank God we don't have to face Jaden Daniels. That MFer scares me. Keep Jalen Hurts away, because that MFer scares me too.
Hey, Brian, no way, baby. They're going in with 2905, baby. 2905. They're going in with one of the elite. You know what? I'll take this back. He's not an elite passer, but he's a really good football player for sure.
Yeah, Chris, I kind of misspoke when I said that. I didn't mean not assemble the team the right way. I meant you didn't do it with your starting quarterback and all your It was one of those, flash in the pan Super Bowls to me where I don't want to say you got lucky, but you don't go into a season expecting to win a Super Bowl with your backup, right? No. I mean, that's just not what you do. So that's what I meant by it. But I don't mean that. You're right, Crispy. I kind of misspoke there. Sorry about that. Jeff S. checks and he says, Sills, I said earlier in the year that McKee could run the offense better than Jalen, and you laughed. He's good.
I did laugh. Jeff, he's a 6th-round draft choice, and there he is. Who else was a 6th-round draft choice that ended up going on and doing things? What's the guy's name?
Brady.
That's right. Tom Brady was a 6th-round draft choice, and now you got – that's it. We're from now on – because he was drafted in the same round as Brady, he is Tanner Brady. How you doing? Hey, I can't wait to get McMullen's ass on here. He kept telling us today, Drew Lock's better. You see that kid throw the ball around the yard?
Drew Lock is not better than Tanner McKee. I'm not buying that for a second.
Hey, what about that kid Neighbors talking shit to the Eagle fans? And his team is a 3-win team, and he's giving them the business. I was like, hey, son, you might want to win a couple more games before you start talking shit like that. If I was sitting in the stands, I'd have given that guy the raspberry a couple times. That was bullshit. He's like, yeah, I'm going. Look at
he's a good player, though, man.
He is a good player.
Have you seen his numbers and with who's throwing him the ball?
I did. Yeah, I know. No, again, pizza guy's throwing him the ball, and you know that. But hey, son, you won 3 games this year. How you doing?
Yeah, really. All right, I'm waiting for the update on when the Eagles will play. Right now, I'm getting some reports. Sunday at 4:25. We will see what that is. I'll keep you guys posted about that on here. M. Reyes checks in. I knew they'd get 14 W's. Let's win the bowl, baby.
I knew they'd get 14 wins.
Jarrell says, Sileo be on my nerves. Jarrell's not happy with you, Big Sills.
Jarrell, did you see that kid today, man? Tanner Brady made that offense look exactly what Kellen Moore wanted it to look like all year. Hey, and by the way, once again, I saw quarterback play on an elite dual threat guy on Saturday. His name was Lamar. That's what that fucking offense was supposed to look like. Not that bullshit 2903. From now on, he's dubbed 2903. An NFL quarterback in 2025 with 2903 in 15 games is pathetic.
He missed 3 games.
Okay. Okay. 2.5 games.
3 games.
Okay. 2.5.
He played 10 plays of that other game and threw the ball 4 times.
Yeah. Okay. He played in the game.
He missed 3 games, so
Come on, man.
Leon Banks checks in. He says Jordan Love effed up his throwing elbow too, LFG. Yeah, they got some injuries. Then Watson went down today. Listen, the playoffs is about playing your best football at the right time. The Packers are not playing their best football right now. They have taken a step back in the last couple of weeks. They are certainly not playing their best football. I do think it's a favorable matchup for the Eagles.
Okay. Hey, man, I got you here. Well, no question about it here. No question about it. Let's see how these guys play. Let's see how these guys play.
Here's an interesting quote as we talk about Jordan Love right now, next week's opponent, okay? And this just came out a minute ago at his press conference. He says, I pretty much lost all feeling in my hand. He said his hand still feels numb as he stands there talking at the press conference, but he indicates the belief is he'll be fine for next week's game against the Eagles. I don't know what to make of that.
No, neither do I. I have no idea.
Lost all feeling in his hand and still missing it?
Hey, if I'm the Eagles, I worry about the Eagles right now, not worrying about Love right now. Go take care of business. You're hosting the home game. Let's get it done.
Let's get it done. I like it. Clary Void checks in. Intermediate passes with our tight ends. Not used to that. Yeah, they used a lot of that today. A lot of intermediate stuff.
Boy, I think that's what they should do a lot against Green Bay. That intermediate passing game. But they can't, and they haven't all year long. The tight end gets missed for whatever reason. I wonder what AJ thought of how he spread the ball around. Okay? That's what it's supposed to look like. I loved what they did offensively, and when it came to play calling, I liked the play calling, man. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was. No doubt about it. Good stuff. Paul Barbarian checks in. Mike Evans is like a 6'5" version of Steve Largent.
I would say this too, Paul. If you want to make a conversation about it, he's also like Marvin Harrison a little bit. Reliable, great routes, does all the great things, and knows how to get in space. And for a big dude, knows how to get open.
Johnny Mack will join us in just a little bit. So he's talking to Nick Sirianni now, and then he's coming up. So we'll talk to John in a little bit here on the JAKIB Postgame Show. Looking forward to doing that. Brian Pumper says, it's McKee for me. Hurts can hit the road, Jack.
Yeah. Go get him, Pump. Hey, we'll see. Pump. This is what's going to happen. Zander's put it out there. Everyone here. M. Reyes. Don't come up short. Don't come up short. Okay? Do not come up short.
This is where you've set
terrible.
This is where you've set the new bar, right? You're going to be ripping this team all off season for anything less than a Super Bowl.
That's what we said at the beginning of the year. If you're going to win all this and you're going to spend all this and you're going to have all these expectations, it's Super Bowl or bust. Hey, dude, 14-3 don't mean dick. That's 2 14-win seasons. You ain't won.
What it does mean? You know what it does mean? There's a little column over here. There's the Big Z box and the Big Sills box. Put that as a check in the Big ZW column.
Here's what Z has. He has participation trophies in that box. Big Sills goes for the gold. Big Sills goes for the win.
Look at Brandon. Brandon, are you trying to get me in trouble, Brandon? Look at Brandon. He says, Zander, ask Sills what he thinks how he can get for Hurts in the trade if we win a Super Bowl.
Oh,
Brandon, you trying to get me in trouble, man.
Oh, my God, man. Hey, just so everyone has an update this coming week, there's high winds coming. So Communist California may be shutting my power off again.
Oh, no. Not in the playoffs.
Hey, I'm with you. Oh, I'm going to get a generator.
No. What you're doing is you're getting in your Hummer and you're driving to the nearest library. I don't care if it's 100 miles away. You hear me, Big Sills? You hear me, brother?
Too big a week. I'm with you, man.
All right, good stuff. We're going to get to our first commercial break. We'll have John McMullen joining soon. I got a bunch more super chats to read. The Eagles, 14-3. Everybody. Tanner McKee had a good game today. He finished up with 269 passing yards. He was 27 of 41 with 2 touchdowns and a 100 QB rating. So he had a great game today for Tanner McKee. Jahan Dotson, how about him? I got to stop my criticism.
Number 4.
Yeah, I got to stop my criticism. 7 catches for 94 yards today on 11 targets with a long of 19. So very good game for Jahan Dotson. And then Dallas Goedert got out there. Now, he did have the drop, which I thought was maybe a little bit of shaking that rust off. But other than that, he looked really good too. 4 catches for 55 yards.
Hey, man. Hey, all I'm going to tell you, man, I'm watching Jahan Dotson. There's 5, okay? I may have to give you some extra ones. This guy's making catches left and right, looking like a first-round draft choice. That guy gets in the game with Hurts. He looks like a stiff. Come on, man. Even Amos Smith looked good.
I like this comment. I'm going to use it again here from, I think that was Leon that asked that. How concerned are you with Jake Elliott going into the postseason?
A lot.
Level of concern, 1 to 10.
How about this? Okay, wait a minute. From 20 to 40, not so much. Plus 40?
He missed a 39-yarder today.
Okay, 40 to 55 in there. I have no faith in that. I have more faith in the tush push than I do the field goal right now. If it's 4th and 2, I may go for that instead of the field goal.
That's a problem in the playoffs, Sills. You need those points.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not sure what Jalen Tebow can do when he's out there. I mean, I got to be very careful because I don't know if that guy's going to be able to throw us into a win. Jalen Tebow. I mean, kind of,
Jalen Tebow.
Jalen Tebow, 2903.
That's a brutal nickname.
Oh, man. Jalen Tebow. You hear that, Pulp?
Let's get to our first commercial break. Appreciate everybody for listening. Hit that like button. We'll be back in 3 minutes on the postgame show. We'll talk to John McMullen live from Lincoln Financial Field. The line has been set, by the way, for the Eagles' first playoff game. I'll tell you more about that after the break. Stay tuned, everybody.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
We noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an Audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Welcome back in, everybody, to the JAKIB Postgame Show, the final postgame edition on the regular season in 2024. It's 2025, the 2024 season. Birds finished 14-3 with a 20-13 win over the New York Giants. Jeffrey Lurie's 300th win, which they celebrated in the locker room for the owner. Tanner McKee was your starting quarterback today, 27-41 for 269 and 2 touchdowns and a 100 rating. Only 51 rushing yards in the game. Jahan Dotson did have 7 catches for 94 yards. So look, good job by him out in the game. And Anais Smith caught a touchdown pass. How about E.J. Jenkins, too? He deserves a little love. His first NFL catch is a touchdown. Nice stuff for him.
How about this, man? It's just kind of like, since we're throwing numbers around, the Eagles were 4-30 on third down in 2 games against the Giants on third down. It just shows you how dominant they were at one side of the football, running the football, and now in this ball game, they were dominant throwing the football. Because, Xander, isn't this one of the very few games where the Eagles, or may have even been the first game of the season, that the Eagles didn't rush for 100 yards in this ball game? Because if I'm not mistaken, they only have 51 yards rushing in this game. And I think that number is right, where this is the first game where they haven't had 100 yards rushing as a unit. So, I mean, the number 1 rushing attack in the NFL obviously didn't have their main horse in there and their main weapon in there, and they relied more on throwing the ball. They had 303 yards in total offense. I mean, 68 plays to 54. They almost doubled up. They did double up the Giants in first downs. I mean, look how many first downs they got on the passing game. 15 first downs of the 21 or via the passing game. 27-41, 6 yards of play in the passing game. I'll tell you, man, they were 2 for 4 on fourth down as well. Good stuff, man. I liked what they did, and I liked how well they coached that football game. And, I mean, we're not talking about low-volume throws here. We're talking about 41 throws. I mean, has Hurts thrown 41 times at all this year?
I don't think so. I do not think so. I can't recall a time. I know he had 30-plus in the Packers game, but I don't think he's thrown for 40-plus attempts yet this year. So much for balance, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they saw what was working, and they really – and I'll tell you this, too. Doesn't it show you a little bit the value of Barkley, that with the players that they have in the huddle right now, that's not good enough. Now, albeit it's not their starting O-line, so we have to take that into consideration, and their starting quarterback and their starting wide receivers, but you see they're limited there a little bit without Saquon Barkley in that. I mean, let me ask you something here. The last couple of weeks without Hurts, who, after what you saw today without Barkley, isn't it the guy that you missed the most, Barkley, not Jalen? I'm not saying you don't miss Jalen. I'm just saying, isn't Barkley really the centerpiece to the success of this offense this year?
Yeah, but I don't think that's nothing new, right? We knew this. I mean, that's how the team was built this year.
Do you think that was how it was set up at the beginning of the year, that it was going to be?
I don't know if they expected it to get to this level, but Saquon ran the way he did. Obviously, the Eagles' passing game took a little bit to come along. There was concerns, a frustration expressed by the team. They obviously didn't get the passing game going as much as they'd like, and this is how it turned out. By the way, to answer the question, Jalen did not throw 41 attempts yet this year. His most was 38 in week 3 versus the New Orleans. So that was his most attempts of the year.
Okay. I mean, this was more of a comfortable game plan for Kellen Moore, too. As we said, Kellen looked comfortable there. Hey, you know what, too? I like Tanner moving around. I like the way he rolled out. I know you were saying, I just think he needs more reps.
Yeah, I agree.
The guy just needs more opportunities just to see what he can be. But I think if they continue to develop him, next year I would elevate him to be my backup, and I feel comfortable doing that. The only problem you have with that is you got two different contrasting styles. You have a dual threat guy, and McKee is clearly not a dual threat guy.
No.
Okay, so you've got to make sure that you have a coordinator that can balance that. And again, look at what he's done this year, Kellen Moore, with what he did with Saquon Barkley. But got to tell you, man, I'd like him as the number 2 heading into next year.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening with that. We'll talk to John McMullen coming up here in just a second. Look at this comment. Come on, Brandon. You know better than this. A whole media outlet dedicated to hating Jalen Hurts. JAKIB is a joke.
No. Hey, Brandon, it's not hating Jalen. It's hating the style. And by the way, I did put that out. I thought that Tanner threw the ball with some accuracy and some strength like Josh Allen throws the ball. He doesn't move like him, obviously.
He doesn't look like he's got that level of arm strength. Some of those come up slow.
I think he looks like that in there when he throws that. I tell you what, he looks pretty accurate in there, getting that ball in there.
Come on, Brandon. Come on in, Brandon. We love you, Brandon. I know you love it here, Brandon.
Hey, Brandon.
I know you love it here.
Sitting around hating on people is not what I do in my life. That's not what my deal is. I don't sit around hating folks, man. I just speak Big Sil's truth, justice, in the Big Sil's way.
Brian Pumper checks in. Tanner Manning, the best thing since sliced bread. All Jalenites have been evicted. Tan Man is the key. Holy moly.
Jalenites, man. Hey, get this. You see how protective, too. They can't give the kid Tanner McKee some kudos because they don't want to go overboard because they'll hurt. Hey, man, you should be looking at it like this. Hey, we got a really viable backup quarterback in case something happens to Jalen Hurts that could potentially win us a football game. You should be looking at it like that. Instead, it's like, you're giving this kid his roses. Why not? He played really well, man. Actually, he's played really good in the amount of time that he's been in from last week to this week. In my opinion, again, is he a starter? No. But does he have potential to be a starter? Yes.
I definitely think that's true. This is a good question here. Topic. Khaled, thank you, brother. Khaled says, if the Eagles beat the Packers, who do you think will play in the divisional round? Now, let me run this down for some people real quick. So let's just assume real quick that the Lions win tonight. I'm just assuming. I'm not saying they're gonna. I'm just assuming for the sake of the exercise. Lions are going to be the 1 seed. Vikings would be the 5 seed. If we play the Packers, which we are, they're the 7 seed, and we knock off the Packers, we would then be playing the second lowest seed left. So if the Commanders win as a 6 seed, they would play the Lions in the second round, which would mean
Vikings.
We would play the Vikings if they won the first round, or potentially the Buccaneers or the Rams, depending on how that seeding goes. So I think my guess would be the Vikings, though. I have a feeling the Commanders are going to win their
We're going to play the second lowest seeded team. If they advance, you're going to play the second lowest seeded team or the second lowest playoff round, because Detroit gets the benefit of playing the worst. Okay, because they have the top seed. They're going to go through the line.
But what could happen is we knock off Green Bay, the 7 seed, and if the Bucs, if the Rams lose, I think the Bucs go to the 3 seed. So if they knock off the Commanders, then you're going to have the Lions playing the Vikings in the second round, and we would end up playing the Rams or the Buccaneers.
Wow. Would that be?
That's what you need. We need everybody to sweep the top seeds to sweep next week, and then the Eagles will be in a good position.
I can't wait to talk to John, because I don't know if I've ever seen 3 teams with 14 wins and more.
I know, it's crazy.
In a conference playoff, I don't know if I've ever seen that, where you have that amount of winning involved in the playoffs for one conference. I mean, the AFC has all those great quarterbacks, but they don't have wins like this. You're gonna have a 15-win team no matter what, and you're gonna have 2 14-win teams. Holy shit, that's a lot of winning, man.
No doubt about it. It's a lot of winning. You're right. And so all of it's in the NFC. AFC is the better quarterbacks. NFC is the better football teams.
Have the better rosters. Yes.
Yeah. Better rosters right now. No doubt about it. Good stuff. Joey S. checks in. Goddard didn't look rusty. He looked pretty good. He did, other than that one drop, that third down drop, which sucked for McKee because they got him off the field. But he was dealing at that point in the game, and Goddard had that one drop. But other than that, he looked really good.
I thought he looked really good, man. I mean, I really did. I thought he looked pretty good out there.
Yeah, good stuff. We have John McMullen checking in now. So once his connection looks like I got him already. So we'll go to John McMullen joining us now on the JAKIB Postgame Show to give a little recap of the Eagles' 14th win of the year. Johnny Mack, welcome to the show, my friend. Birds win the game today and get 14 wins on the year, a 20-13 win. Tanner McKee did a good job. John, what'd you see out there today, brother?
Woo, yeah, 14-3. I mean, I don't know how the New York Giants survived this, but that's for them to talk about. Brian Daboll. Oh, just an ill-prepared, undisciplined team. But give the Eagles credit. I mean, this is basically their backups out there. Tanner McKee was tremendous, especially early in the game. Dan and I were joking at Tanner Manning. Almost. He didn't quite keep it up. But I'll tell you what, they had 190 passing yards in the first half, I believe, most all season, most since 2022. And his ability to get people involved, dish it off, as I was saying on the halftime show, I think with you, Zander, he described himself as a point guard when we were talking to him this week. He regards his job as distributing the football. And he got it to everybody. Started with Dallas Goedert early with the 2 quick receptions. By the way, he looked great. So, any concern over the rust with Dallas Goedert, that got over pretty quickly. And how about Jahan Dotson? The guy's invisible. And all of a sudden they can't cover him. Now it's the New York Giants, but still separation. Really good game by Jahan Dotson. And then the defense. We talked. It's official now. There's a couple games to go, but nobody's beaten this defense. This is the first number 1 defense in Vic Fangio's long storied career. And who would have thought that back when we started this season? Number 1 defense.
Absolutely, John. I mean, it was a really well-constructed game on defense. Kellen Moore looked comfortable in the play calling. And I'll tell you something else too, John, about the coaching. I mean, no turnovers. And on top of that, you had no penalties. You had that one penalty, but it was for no yards. I mean, you really had a clean ball game with backups where traditionally you and I know there's a ton of turnovers and a ton of penalties and a ton of mistakes when you have backups. Look at the Giants. Like you said, how many drives did they keep going for the Eagles because of undisciplined play? I mean, they kept 4 or 5 drives going because of that. They were well disciplined in the game. That comes to preparation. I think they were well prepared for this ball game. Like you said, the Giants, that's not the Eagles' problem that the Giants are unprepared and not talented. That's a Giant problem. I thought that was a well-coached football game, and I even like Nick, instead of going for it on 4th down, trying to get a little confidence for Elliott to kick the field goal heading into the postseason. I was even good with that. I mean, John, I think they did a nice job at prepping these guys and getting them ready for the game against the Giants this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, you have to get – these are mainly scout team players. You think about Tanner McKee getting the first touchdowns ever for Anaya Smith and E.J. Jenkins. Both players get their first NFL touchdowns. For E.J. Jenkins, it was his first NFL catch as well. So he was able to get, as I said, everybody involved. The backup offensive line, you give credit to Jeff Stoutland. Kellen Moore, I think, let's be honest, this is more of the offense Kellen Moore wants to run. And that's why he was brought here to run. So that's probably why you saw a little bit more comfort from that perspective. So he deserves credit. And then you can't say enough about Vic Fangio. I mean, It doesn't matter who he rolls out there. Sidney Brown made 2 big plays today. I didn't even know if he was going to play safety, but, his plan was, okay, Avonte Maddox, who's taken over as the third safety, really, was going to play nickel because they didn't want to play Cooper DeJean, understandably. So all of a sudden, it's Sidney Brown and Tristan McCullum out there playing safety. And in the first half, they took that deep shot to Malik Neighbors. It was a good throw, one of the rare good throws in the game from Drew Lock. And boy, I wish you guys could have seen that from overhead. He closed a lot of ground to get over there, and a big hit to break up that, and then the interception to essentially clinch the game. So good to see Sidney Brown getting involved. Warren Burks had like 17 tackles. That was in on everything.
Yeah.
Everything. And tackles are not always a great stat because, if you tackle guys 7-8 yards down the field, who cares? But that wasn't Warren Burks. He was in on everything. What a signing he's been. People don't think about it because he's the third linebacker, special teams player. But this is a guy who made the playoffs. We were just talking to him because he's a former Packer. He's a former 49er. He's always in the playoffs. He's always playing in these big games. Just has a real settle down effect to him when he's out there. Moments never too big for him. That's another guy who doesn't get talked about. And the few guys who had to play, Jordan Davis, he was, there were a couple screens early where he's tracking back to get the receiver. Bryce Huff is out there playing a little bit better, so that was good to see from him. And then Dallas Goedert, obviously, is the one guy who typically wouldn't be playing. Typically, he'd be one of the deference players, but he's been out for a month. If you watch that guy in the first quarter, he didn't look like a guy who was out for a month.
No, he didn't.
He looked like himself. And that's a big – because he's going to be a big part of their offense because Jalen Hurts trusts Dallas Goedert. And sometimes that's not always the case with certain receivers.
No doubt about it. John, real quick, Sills, let me get this in. John, how do you decipher what you said about the offense? Because you said, a couple of things you said about how Tanner spreads the ball around, and then you also said, this is the offense that Kellen Moore wanted to run. Let's be real. What do you mean by that? Do you see it as a problem? Is it just a circumstance with the quarterback you have? How do you decipher that?
Well, I think good coaches build offenses around the talent they have, and that's why you hit the same point with Nick Sirianni, Shane Steichen, Brian Johnson, and now Kellen Moore. You're running the same offense, a little bit of differences here and there, but from a framework perspective, it's been the same offense. That's what you do. When Nick Sirianni was in Indianapolis, he had Andrew Luck. That was a different offense. The next year, because Andrew Luck retired, they were in panic mode. Jacoby Brissett, completely different offense. The next year, Phillip Rivers, completely different offense. Everybody gets here, sees what Jalen does well, goes back to the RPOs and the +1 running game. There's nothing wrong with it, but that's what he does well. Now, if you have a quarterback capable of distributing the ball around the field, spreading it to 8 different receivers, yeah, that's what they would prefer. But, again, and Dan and I were joking about it a little bit in the pregame. That doesn't mean Tanner McKee is better than Jalen Hurts. I'm talking about if you have a high level Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. Everybody wants that, who can do things and manipulate things at the line of scrimmage and get everybody involved. But it's easier said than done. But it's fun for a coordinator. And that's why you see it all over the league. It's not an insult. I know people will take it as an insult, but, a lot of coordinators will take it as a challenge if they have to go to their backup quarterback and try to develop a game plan to help that particular quarterback. And that's what Kellen Moore did today. And Tanner McKee just got done talking to him, gave him a ton of credit for that. Getting him comfortable, getting him on the move, those quick waggle, misdirection, getting guys, and Tanner was able to do the rest. You'll notice, in the second half, it got a little murkier, a little bit more difficult as the defense adjusted. But, it looked pretty good for a third-string quarterback.
How about this, John? What's the latest? Did they say anything about the protocol and Hurts, or will we know more about that on Monday? Did they just leave that alone? Or I'm sorry?
No, we'll know Wednesday. He's going to be on the field on Wednesday practicing. If he's not, that's when you panic. They're going through this. And by the way, I don't agree with the Eagles. They should have just started they should have started it last week and said, we're resting him. For whatever reason, they made the decision. They made the decision that they made. I don't know why. It creates this uncertainty. It creates these questions. Nick got the question again. He was angry about it again. He was, he's in the protocol. He's progressing in the protocol is what he says. They're slow playing it on purpose. He'll be out there on Wednesday. If he isn't on Wednesday, that's when the red flag goes up.
John, it's been now confirmed the Green Bay Packers are coming to the city of brotherly love for the Eagles wild card matchup. When you hear that, what goes through your head, Johnny Mac? Your first thoughts on that?
Yeah, good team. Now Jordan Love got hurt again today. They took him out. I think he could have came back in.
They did say after the game.
I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why Green Bay played it the way they played it. Last second field goal, Chicago. They got a big field goal from Brandon McManus, who's a local kid, and then the Bears came back down with sort of a miracle throw and then a big field goal to win it. But they put Malik Willis in there. Dr. David Chow, the famed sort of internet doctor, looked at it and said, looks like a funny bone, no structural damage. So he should be ready to play. Good matchup, a good team. But you got to play good teams in the playoffs. So, especially in the NFC. You're not getting any gimmies. The Eagles are better, but Green Bay's dangerous. I'm sure Dallas went into the playoffs last year saying the same thing. We're better. Green Bay came to Dallas and put a you-know-what on them. And they're capable if they're playing at that high level. Now, they haven't been very consistent, but good team, and it'll be a good test for the Eagles.
John, let me ask you this one here. The significance of Jeffrey Lurie winning his 300th game as an owner means what to you?
Well, I mean, it's always significant when you get to that level. But I think Jeffrey Lurie as a whole, I think, is, his ownership. Like, you have a whole generation of Eagles fans that have grown up thinking the playoffs are a normal thing, expected. And now it's become large playoff runs are expected. Wasn't always that way in Philadelphia.
For sure.
In the pre-Andy Reid era, was not always that way. He had some nice runs with Dick Vermeil and Buddy Ryan, at least as far as being relevant, not winning playoff games, but being relevant. Prior to that, it was really bad. I mean, really bad for about 2 decades. But he's turned this into one of the better organizations in the NFL. And it starts with him. So when everybody's, I got news for you. Not that Nick Sirianni wanted to play Saquon Barkley today, but he wouldn't have been allowed to even if he wanted to. And that's because everything is set at the top of this organization. Everybody's on the same page or trying to be on the same page. That's why Dom's texting people to tell them to shut up on the radio. Everybody, they try to keep everybody on the same page. And, it works for the most part. That doesn't mean you're going to win the Super Bowl every year, but this team is relevant every year. Here we are again. This is 14 wins. 14 wins. I mean, they won 14 in 2022.
John, I said this about the franchise. I'm like, I asked the question about when's the last time they had back-to-back losing seasons, and somebody pointed out it was Andy's final 2 years.
Which I think it might have been fake news. I think Andy was 8-8 in his final year, so it might have even been longer.
I don't remember, John, when they lost, had 2 losing seasons in a row. I mean, a lot of teams, when they look at the Rams, I mean, after they won the Super Bowl, they struggled. I mean, a lot of football teams, man, as you know, John, you're going to have downtimes and downtrends because of roster, free agency, money you spent.
Yeah.
Man, you don't see that in Philly, man. Since 2000, every single coach, John, here's a testament to Lurie. Every single coach since 2000, including Chip, has a winning record. I mean, that says a lot to me that when they make the hire, they get a guy that wins. I mean, they win a lot of football games.
Well, and I think Jeffrey has a lot to do with it. Dallas, I know Stephen Jones was talking this week about the Eagles, and eventually the salary cap stuff is going to come back and bite him in the ass. No, it's not, because the owner okays dead money. And he's like, all right, we made a mistake. We'll move on. It's not going to bite him in the ass. And there are very few teams who have owners that approve that kind of stuff. Howie's a great GM. Zander and I were having that discussion, and I used to get a lot of shit, Dan, for saying Howie Roseman was the top 5 GM in this league. And now I got to veer people back because now everybody's like, Howie's the second coming. I'm like, it starts with Jeffrey. First of all,
John, that money that he gives up front in the front end of it versus the back end, when the player, because a player for me, John, I don't want promised money. I want money in the bank. So if that comes in with a little bit less and the owner goes like this, hey, I'll give you this up front and we want you to tailor it back in salary as we go forward. Players are going to go, I don't want promised money. I want for sure money in the bank. And that completely starts with there's very few owners. 99% of the owners will not put the money up front in those contracts and to back end it with lower payments. Most of the time, it's escalated up, not down. That's the secret to this guy, in my opinion, on constructing those contracts, John, and that starts with the owner.
Yeah. And the second part is patience. How many GMs get to hire 3 different coaches? Most GMs are coaching are GMing for their job every couple of years. And when you have to prove your worth every couple of years, what do? You take chances. Maybe you don't want to do something, but you say, I got to win a couple more games or I'm out of here. And that spawns poor decisions and as I said, chances you probably shouldn't take. So, the Eagles build the right way, offensive line, defensive line. And then when you get that into place, you start building the other stuff. And this year it clicked in with the running back for the first time in years. And that worked out pretty well, I would say. So we'll see how far they can take it, but they're a good team. They're one of, I would say, 5 legitimate Super Bowl contenders. And if you're in that position, I always tell Eagles fans, I had one guy tell him, I can't wait till the Eagles beat Detroit so McMullen can eat crow. I go, I'm not eating crow. Enjoy the journey. I think they're a good fucking team. They won 14 games. They're 14-2 going into tonight's game. I think they're pretty good. If the Eagles beat them, that means they're pretty good. Enjoy the journey. Yeah. That's what we do. We give our opinions. nobody's laughing at me because I say Detroit's a good team, but the Eagles are a good team as well. And the matter is how good can they get? How far can they take it? And there's a little bit of concern with the starting quarterback because he hasn't been out there. And I know people are going to panic until Wednesday. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to Aaron Rodgers you. Relax. He's going to be out there on Wednesday.
Johnny Mac, how about that? 3 teams in the NFC with 14 wins, and one of them is going to get to 15 wins. Pretty good playoff coming up here in the NFC, brother.
Hey, John, have you ever seen that? At the final game of the year determines home field advantage, and a 14-win team is going to be in the 5-hole as a wild card. Have you ever seen that?
No, it's never happened before. It's never happened before. But, understand they haven't been playing 17 games for that long. But this is the first time that 2 14-2 teams are meeting for the number 1 seed. And yeah, it looks bad for 1 year when you have a 14-win team as a 5 seed, but it doesn't happen that often. So, and they want to obviously make sure that division champions are rewarded for going through what they've gone through.
Johnny Mac, good stuff, brother. Any final thoughts on this backup bowl, the Tanner McKee bowl, before we let you go, brother?
Well, the beauty of this game is it wasn't the backup bowl. It was the backup bowl for one team, and they won. So
that's true.
The backups beat the other teams. Now, a lot of guys are out for the Giants, and they shut them down. But they're playing their starters that they have. It was only the backup bowl for one team, and the Eagles were able to beat it. And they're polar opposites. The Eagles are 14-3. The Giants are 3-14. That pretty much sums up these two organizations.
Hey, John, do you think they would put Tanner McKee in that 2-hole because of the injury issues to Kenny Pickett heading into that playoff game? Or you think that'll be determined later in the week?
No. Well, I think it'll be determined by Kenny Pickett's health. Yeah, he's got broken ribs. So there's a possibility from a health perspective. If Kenny's ready to go, he's going to be the backup. So it's all determined on health. I know people don't understand it, but the Eagles are comfortable with Kenny Pickett as their backup.
Johnny Mac, good show. Thanks for doing it today, brother. We'll talk to you in the morning on the on Birds 365. Appreciate you checking in on the post-game show. 14 wins, Johnny Mac. Good job on the regular season is now in the rear view, Johnny Mac. Well done.
Tanner Manning, John. Get it right. Tanner Manning.
Yeah. Hey, man. Nobody's thrown for more first-half passing yards in Philadelphia since Jalen Hurts in 2022.
I like it. All right, Johnny Mac. Good stuff, brother. We'll talk to you in the morning.
All right. See you guys.
Thank you, John.
Good stuff there from Johnny Mac joining in from Lincoln Financial Field. He was down there for Tanner McKee's big game. 14-3. Sills, I can't even think about this game anymore. I'm ready for the playoffs. My guy.
Who was ever thinking about the game? I was watching Pickett, and I was watching Dotson, and I was watching guys who potentially could contribute to the playoff run. You know what I saw too? I saw backup defensive tackles that we both talked about, Booker and Ojimo. I thought those guys were good out there, man. I thought I saw Shipley make some plays. I like him moving forward down the line a couple of years. I think he'll be somebody on that team. Hey, by the way, who was the special teams punt returner back there that was taking punt returns for the Eagles today? Because if I'm Britton Covey, I've got to start telling you.
That was Isaiah Rodgers.
I thought Isaiah Rodgers looked outstanding in that role as that punt returner back there, man. He looked good. I thought he almost broke one. Didn't he get a 50-yard return? I thought he looked
51,
yep. There, man. I mean, I liked seeing him there. I saw him make a couple plays in the secondary. So I was looking at guys that could help contribute in depth when it came to the postseason. I thought the O-line, as we both mentioned, I thought they played well. I mean, Zander, there were some things taking away. But now, moving forward, get this, single elimination games. Okay? It's win or go home. And
that's what I like.
And
that's what I like.
In this format, you don't get a mulligan. How you doing? This is all about showing up to see if you're one of those elite teams to go on and win a Super Bowl. We're going to find out. Rents due. How you doing?
So Black Monday is coming early. Gerard Mayo already fired by the New England Patriots.
1 year they gave him, and they blew his ass out. It must have been something organizationally that Bob Kraft and his kid didn't see that they really enjoyed, because you got to remember something about that defense a year ago. As bad as the Patriots were, they were 7th in total defense. I mean, they didn't – remember, they were losing games like 6-3. They were bad. They were awful this year. And you got to start looking at Drake May. Is that guy really the answer?
I like Drake May.
Okay. No.
I kind of like him.
Well, if you think that, start putting players around him.
Right. Now people are saying Vrabel's going to be.
Oh, yeah. I completely agree that'll be Mike Vrabel's job, because don't you remember what happened? What almost got him fired in Tennessee? He showed up to a Patriots induction, and he's in the booth there with Bob Kraft.
Right.
And he was sitting in the booth with it. And I'm like, there's your next head football coach. You know what I like about Vrabel, though? Remember this, Zander? And if you ever do this, and I'm going to be able to do this, watch, just like Angelo did with me. Watch what I'm doing to you. I'm going to pass it.
Look at that crusty mic. Clean your microphone.
Listen, I'm going to pass the golden mic to you one day. But you never want to do this, Zander. Don't replace Bill Belichick. Replace Jared Mayo.
Exactly. That's what they say. Never replace the guy. Replace the guy that replaced the guy. That's what you want to do. All right, so there's a couple more minutes, man, before I let you go. I know it's Corona o'clock over in Big Sileo world.
3 chilling right now, Junior.
He's got 3 on ice, and 3 more are going on ice after one of those gets taken off the ice. So Big Sil has a big night in front of him, enjoying some football. What's your final takes on today's game, man? Hey, listen. I know you like to give us shit here in Philadelphia. 14-3, Big Sills. That's a good season.
Good?
Great.
I mean,
now you're right. It goes to shit if you lose in round 1. So handle business.
But okay, I mean, that's the component of this. But Zander, honestly, I mean, what is this? You're 39. You're 39 and 12 in 3 years. I mean, dude, that to me is the number. You know why? That's consistent winning, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're telling me you're winning almost 40 games in 3 seasons. And I mean, that's really consistent winning. Now, if you validate it with a Super Bowl, get this how that sounds. 2 NFC championships, a Super Bowl ring, and the best winning percentage of anybody in the last 4 years. And on top of that, you're talking about the best road record in NFL since Nick Sirianni took over. Dude, that's how you validate an era, is by closing the door on one of those years.
Right.
Okay? If you close one of those years up, and then you know what you start doing with Hurts? Hey, Sileo, fuck you in 29-03. I just won the Super Bowl. How you doing, Big Sills? You're now Little Sills.
Well, here's the problem. This roster is so damn good that you're always going to want more with this team. Like, even if you win 1, you'd say, well, if we had Burrow, we'd be a dynasty. We'll win 4. You know, there's always going to be that catch-22, I feel like.
Yeah, well, hell, if I had Burrow or if I had Allen, well, you know what? Okay, so the one thing they don't have is the most important thing, but he's not awful. You've already proven you got to the game with him, and he excelled in the game. Get to the game. How about this?
Get there, right.
But this, if that roster does the same thing they did in 22, Jalen was a non-factor in that divisional game and the NFC title game that year. But you know what you got him to? You got him to the game, and then when he got to the game, he performed. Get him to that. Remember what you said about Josh Allen? Here's the one thing, Zander. Buffalo can't carry Josh Allen to an AFC title or a Super Bowl. Allen's got to win 4 games in a row for him to do that. Hurts doesn't have to win 4 games in a row. Hurts has to win the game because I think that roster is good enough to get him to the game.
I agree. Big Sills, great stuff today, brother. We will talk to you tomorrow, 2 to 6. By the way, we didn't mention it at all in the game day shows, and we'd be remiss to not mention it before you leave. What a great job by you on Friday with a big interview from Angelo Cataldi. You set the city on fire. Howard Eskin's calling. Angelo's calling. The city's writing reports on it. Big Sills is the arbiter of truth in Philadelphia nowadays. Big Sills, well done by you.
All I got to say is, Howard, I reached out to him. He reached back to me. He said, Sills, let it settle a little bit and I'll come on. And I'm like, hey, man, all good. I want to get your side of it. I told him this, and I said, my ass isn't with you, Howard. I want you to know that. My ass is with Odyssey and how they run people over 4 or 5 times to make a point. And so, yeah, I mean, everybody, half the city loves me, half the city hates me. All I care about is you listen and view me. How you doing?
I know you do. All right, brother. Good show, man. We'll catch you tomorrow, 2 to 6 National Football Show.
I'll see you at 3:30, brother.
All right, brother. See you, man. Good stuff from Big Sills on the postgame show here. Great stuff. Great show, everybody. Eagles win their 14th game. 14 games they won this year. That's a lot of winning, guys. We're doing a lot of win. Listen, we all have our own gripes with the Philadelphia Eagles. Some people like this. Some people don't like this. Some people want Jalen. Some people hate Jalen. The fact of the matter is we just keep winning, and we got to enjoy it every once in a while. You know what I mean? 14 wins, that's pretty damn good stuff. 48 wins for Sirianni in his first 4 years of coaching. That's pretty impressive stuff. Look at Dirty Air. Dirty Air, I was thinking about this. He goes, Dotson jersey giveaway. Dirty Air, I was thinking of doing a promo for jersey giveaway, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm not giving away a backups jersey that's going to be gone in a year or two. That's a waste of a jersey. You know, I want legends. To give away. But I hear you, Dirty Air. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. I'll get to a couple super chats, then I'll send out the link for the post game show. Let's keep it short and quick today, guys. I got a lot of stuff I got to get done. And then I also, selfishly, I would like to watch that game tonight, which is still a couple hours away. So we're still good on that front. But that Vikings-Lions game is going to be going. By the way, who do you guys have in that game? I'm taking the Lions. I think the Lions are going to win that game tonight, but that's just me. I'm a Dan Campbell guy. I like him. I like the way he prepares his team. I like his approach. I like he doesn't give a shit who goes down. I just like it. It's the type of coach I'd want to play for. So I'm a big Dan Campbell guy. I think the Lions win that game. A lot of Vikings guys though. Devontae, what's up, brother? He says he's taking the Vikings. Kakoa's got the Lions. Nice. Izzy B, Vikings. Steve says Vikings. Dirty Air says Vikings. Good stuff. Twiz the Jig. NFC's champs. 14 wins, 2 seed. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. 14 wins, by the way, in 2022 got us the 1 seed. NFC has gotten better. Good stuff. Daz is taking the Lions. Good stuff. Lucia's taking the Vikings. All right, we'll see. I got the Lions. I think the Lions win that football game tonight, man. I think that offense is tough to stop. But I'm going to take the Lions, and we'll see. Who gets the win and who drops to the 5 seed and who gets the bye week. It's going to be a big one. So that'll be a good game tonight. Let's get to our commercial break. I appreciate all of you guys for being here. Don't forget to stay tuned. Hit that like button. We will do the post game show tonight. We'll do a little bit of a shortened edition of it. And I'm looking forward to doing that with you guys coming up next here on JAKIB Sports on the post game show. Stay tuned, everybody.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
We noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
We noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES, Eagles.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into the JAKIB Postgame Show. The Philadelphia Eagles wrapped up the regular season. Can you guys believe it? The regular season is behind us. I don't know about you, but I'm already getting like that little post-football depression, and it's not even done yet. I just love how much football's on the TVs right now, and that's going to be behind us soon. But the Eagles finish up 14-3. Good game by Tanner McKee today. He threw for 269 and 2 touchdowns. A good game for him. Birds won 20-13 against the lowly New York Giants, who finished 3-14. So we were 14-3. The Giants were 3-14. Will Brian Dable keep his job? I don't think so, everybody. I don't think so. But we'll see what ends up happening there. I thought it was good to get the win today. And I thought Tanner McKee looked good, and we're all healthy going into the playoffs. So everything is good on that front. So good stuff there. I'm going to read a couple super chats here. Kenny Sprague, I'll legit take a Tanner jersey. I should have done a Tanner giveaway if he went for over 250, which he did. That's probably what I would have set the number at. Brian Pumper says, Tanner up the blower on Hurts because it's a stick him up. Tanner said, I'm the captain now. Holy shit, Pump. He did look good today, Brian. He did. Lucius the Show says, Hurts' best game this year passing was for 290, 78% versus Pittsburgh. Tanner's 269, 66% versus the Giants. Good for Tanner, but not the same. Bye, Kenny. Come on, Lucius. You're giving Tanner one attempt with all backups, and you're going to compare it to Jalen Hurts versus the Steelers? Lucius, come on, brother. I mean, I know you played the Giants today, but come on, dude. You can't compare those two. I'm not saying Tanner's better. Jalen's obviously the better player, but come on. That's not a fair comp. Christopher Darker says, we're a few bad plays away from a quarterback controversy next week. You are correct. You are correct about that. Lord's Grace says, I saw Dan put Tanner in the throwing the ball like Josh Allen. What a great compliment. Yeah, I didn't really see that. I mean, I think he throws the ball well. He's accurate, but I do see there's like every once in a while you'll see a throw that just lacks strength. And you're like, that was a little bit of a duck, So I don't see that level. Josh Allen has a really big arm. But Tanner is a very good passer, clearly. Clary Voice says, Sills, do they shut down McDonald's when they turn off residential power? If not, bum off that McDonald's Wi-Fi. Shit would be funny. Yeah, I am not letting Sileo do a 20-minute show from the car this week. So Sills, if you're listening, Sills, get yourself to a freaking library, my friend. Get yourself to a library. Leon, scale 1 to 10. How concerned are we with Jake? 8? I think 8's a good number. 8's a good number, Leon. This is his worst percentage kicking season since 2020, which he bounced back from in 21, but bad year for Jake, man. Bad year for Jake. Might be time to move on, depending on his age. Sean Mims says, Sills, ask Angelo about 5 wins. How you doing? Yeah, that was his worst prediction ever. Lord's Grace, Eagles got to be the greatest backup factory I've ever seen. I could be wrong. I thought I was watching Nick Foles out there. Seriously, Lord's Grace, you're not wrong. We got a version of Nick Foles on the 2024 team. I like it. Sydney Family says, put Tanner on Chinese training program and he will be poor man's Allen. It's true. Clary Voy, McKee did play with the level of talent of what Wentz did. Imagine if he had the starter and reps. I do agree. If he had the starters out there, it would have looked a lot good. How come Dotson all year sucked and magically played well? Well, I think that's the quarterback. No, he was granted. He was the one today. He was the first. He was the wide receiver 1. He's not the wide receiver 1 every week. But Jason A-Team checks in. Big Z, congrats to your first full season as a talk show host. Thank you, brother. That's very cool of you to say. Jacob has been upgraded big time. Let's get that playoff fire, baby. Excited for it. Me too, A-Team. Thank you for the compliment, man. It means a lot. You're one of our great viewers, and I appreciate the hell out of you, brother. So thank you so much for your support. That's a cool comment by you, man. By the way, can I just tell you guys, I was telling, New Year happens, right? And everybody's, what are your New Year's resolutions? What do you want to do? What do you think of 2024? I was talking about this with my dad and my brother. We always have a little Krause men discussion, right? Where we talk about 24, what we're doing for 25, business, relationships, personal goals, life goals, any of those things. Me and my father and my brother are all very close, very tight-knit group of men. But I said 2024, I think, was my best year of my life. And it's not because I was happy for the most amount of game or days or I made the most amount of money or any of those. It was none of that. In fact, it was probably my hardest year in terms of dealing with shit day after day, week after week. This rumor, this report, this person, this contractor, this money, this thing, whatever it was. I mean, I dealt with it all. We faced it all at JAKIB, but I said it was my best year ever because we faced all that. We came out stronger, and I've never felt better about the future. And a lot of that has to do with the community here and just finding my rhythm, finding my groove, finding what I think I'm going to do with my career. So I'm really excited about that. And I said 2024 was my best year because of that. So big thanks to all you guys for making that the truth. A-Team, thank you for the super chat, brother. Alfredo checks in. He goes, Xander, how many yards does Saquon have through the playoffs and Super Bowl? 800? Depends how many games you play, Alfredo. 800 is insane. That's 200 yards a game for 4 games, and that means we go to the Super Bowl. I'm going to go over under 500. Not even that's heavy. You could play 4 games. That's 125 a game, right? The reason I went 500 is because we were doing the 125 giveaway, So we'll see. Jason A-Team says, most years, every year gets better in life. I like that perspective, man. I like that. I like that perspective. Every year gets better. Every day, Jason, every day that I'm alive, I'm grateful to the good Lord. I mean that with my whole heart. I really do. Every day that I'm alive is a blessing. Can you guys give me an update on what the heck is going on with Carson Wentz? They're losing 21-0. Is Carson Wentz dropping a stink bomb? You guys let me know if that's what's going on in the world of Carson Wentz. Is he dropping a stink bomb? Because I wanted to see the Bengals get in just because I wanted Joe Burrow, but that's not happening. 6-9 for 53 yards, Wentz is. 24-0 now. Good night. Carson Wentz, brutal. All right, let me send it. Actually, did I get all the super chats? I think I did. Yeah, I did. All right, good stuff. Let me send out the link. Get some of you guys here up on the post-game show. We'll go 45 minutes on the post-game show tonight. Here comes the link. So if you want to join in now. I appreciate all of you guys. Chris Scott says, don't worry, Xander. This year, JAKIB will explode. Chris, I got no worries, man. I love where we are. I feel better about where we are now than I've ever felt in my life. And I'm just getting started, man. This is the beginning of me completely. 100%, the beginning of me. The first 6 months of my career in this, specifically on the air, right? Obviously, I started JAKIB 4 years ago, and I've been behind the scenes for 4 years. I did all the posting. So all the videos you see on JAKIB, what do we have, 12,000 videos now? 13,000 videos. Every single one of those videos was posted by your boy Big Z. Yeah, 12,000 videos we have. So every single 12,369 videos posted on JAKIB Sports. That's a lot of YouTube videos. Go find your favorite channel on YouTube and tell me how many videos they got. I can assure you it won't be more than 12,350. All right. So I've been doing this for a little bit, but I'm happy to be on the air now. I love it, man. I love doing it. So I'm looking forward to continuing to do that and continuing to grow this community and doing a lot more things coming up. Let's get to people in the chat. A couple people joining in. I got 4 in here, so it's good ready to talk to everybody. Let's go to my man Akbar, who's in here first. Akbar, what's going on, bro? How you feeling?
Yes, what's up, Zan?
Hey, what'd you think of the game? Birds win 14 games on the year, man. That's a lot of wins for a season, right, brother?
We had a very, very good season, man, and I'm proud to be, a Philadelphian. I don't live in Philly, but I'm from Philly, so I'm proud that we went 14-3. It really wasn't nothing crazy except for the first four games. You would think that it was going to be a rocky season. But they really turned it around in after the bye. We seen emergences of Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell. We seen Grant. We seen Brandon Graham play his ass off until we got hurt. We see Saquon Barkley. A lot of the questions that we had on the off season, listening to Sills through the summertime, the whole off season, the draft, and all that shit that we've been through before the season, and all the questions that we had about the team, the coaches, the general manager, the fucking draft, everything was like questionable, and how things molded and came to a whole. It's been remarkable, man. It's been remarkable, I'm happy with what we did. So
that's a good synopsis, man. You just gave a good synopsis on a lot of stuff, a lot of questions. Kind of brought me through the whole year there of a lot of questions that we had before the season. That you're right. We got answers, man. We got answers on a lot of them, and we have a lot of surprises too with some of the young guys stepping up and what they've showed. It's been impressive from that front. Now, Akbar, the season's not done yet, so I'm not ready to look at it like you are. We still got playoffs, brother. Packers are going to be round 1. the wild card game. What do you think of that matchup? How do you see that right now, week out?
I think we should trash the Packers. I seen somebody in the chat say something about time to grate some cheese. Whoever said that, shout out to you. You know what I mean? I took
Yeah, that's
that.
a good one.
Yeah, I had to use that, John, because that's what's going to happen. Did you see? I didn't see the game, but I was watching the score, and Chicago was handling them like for most of the game, like it was like 14-13. So I mean, and then they had that shitty game they had last week against Minnesota. I'm not scared of Jordan Love. People is pissing me off in the chat going on about Love and Pump. You on some real nut ass shit right now, dog, about this goddamn Tanner McKee look decent today.
He looked like a great backup to me. It looked like a good.
He looked like a great back. That's exactly it. Yeah. He looked good, but there was some things like some of the passes that he missed. It was like
Yeah, he had a couple of buddies, dude. He had a couple of ducks that really had no juice on them. I saw them too.
No juice at all. Like, I mean, it was like, and then a couple of them passes, it looked like he was trying to throw an interception. It's like
Pumper responds, Akbar, and he says, Akbar, take off the shades. Tanner is QB1.
Tanner is not cute. See, come on, man. You like Brian Pumper is like the court jester. He's the comic relief. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Jalen going to beat the shit out of Green Bay Packers. To be fair, McKee is a pocket passer. This is what he does. Like he sucks like moving around the pocket though.
I know, but Akbar, the way the team is built, don't you think? Because I'm not trying, like, I don't know. I try and view it as objectively as I can. We're like, yeah, Jalen doesn't do everything I love, but at the end of the day, I can see how much we win with him and I can see what we do. But we have AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. Like, sometimes I think fans forget that. Like, AJ Brown and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert and Saquon Barkley and a top 3 offensive line. Like, don't you think at some point Jalen's got to try and get more out of those guys? Like, being the 31st ranked passing offense is just not enough, dude. It's just not enough.
No, I don't know if this is correct. Correct me if I'm wrong. But think about it like this. Even with them being on the field, aren't they a threat? Whether you don't know if he's not going to him or not. So aren't they just as much as of a threat catching the ball, receiving 1,000, 1,500 yards a season? You know what I mean? Just as much as, as many yards. They got 1,000 yards this season? They ain't hardly catch the ball at all.
Neither of them.
That's fucked. When you put it in that perspective, that's fucked.
I know. Now, granted, some of them, they both missed some games, but I hear what you're saying too. They're obviously having impact. Like, the reason that Saquon can run so well is because you can't sell out to stop it, right? Because you have them. But I'm just saying, like, I'm not trying to pick on it. I want to see what happens in the playoffs. But if you get into the playoffs and we do lose or it looks ugly, that's going to be the first thing people are talking about. You better be ready for that.
I don't mind you picking on it because, I mean, that's been the story of the goddamn season, that he's not a really good throw. But, at some point, we just got to accept it is what it is. It ain't like we could trade Bull next year. If we could trade Bull next year, let's talk about it. But if he's staying here, he has a clause in his contract that says he ain't going nowhere, then what the fuck is we talking about? Oh, he got to get better. He's not getting that much fucking better. I mean,
no, he's not. He's in year 5. This is who he is. I mean, he might, become more efficient in what he does, but he's not going to add crazy things, that he doesn't.
Nah, but what would be fun though? I've been thinking about this. I don't know if this ain't going to happen, but just think if it would be funny if Nick Sirianni pulls a Nick Saban in a Super Bowl. That would be funny as fuck. I know it's not going to happen, but just imagine if fucking he pulled a Nick Saban, put Tanner McKee in there, and Tanner McKee pull a Nick Foles. That would be some funny shit. He would have to leave Philly after that. That would be his. He would rip that no clause contract up and leave if they did some shit like that.
By the way, I was wrong. AJ did get 1,000 this year. Devontae did, and AJ got 1,000. He got 1,079. Yep. So he went over.
That's still fucked up. He's like a 1,500-yard receiver.
He missed. But he missed what? 4 games or 3 games? 3 games or 4 games? 3 games. Yeah, 3 games.
Okay.
So, great 100 yards a game, about, give or take. He would have probably had 1,300 or so.
Yo, did you watch? You ain't watched the Bonnie situation, did you? Did you check out the Bonnie situation?
No.
Yo, chat, check this out, man. Check this shit out. Imagine anybody who's seen the movie Pulp Fiction, imagine me playing Jules, Z playing Jimmy, which was played by Quentin Tarantino. Jules was played by Samuel Jackson. Sills would play Vincent with a wig. And Johnny Mack would play Harvey Keitel as the wolf. And we reenact the Bonnie situation. Yo, that shit would be epic. You're so perfect for that role.
We have a movie producer. I'll do it.
Where?
What you say? I said we need to get a producer. We need to get somebody to make that thing.
Yeah, that should be.
Let's see what the chat is saying and what you're saying. Pat Ryan says, "Who's the gimp?"
Nah, then we doing the Bonnie situation, dog.
Philadelphia says, "Huh?"
Yeah, imagine me playing Jules, talking to Zan, playing Jimmy.
I'm awake says no. I'm awake says nah.
You crazy? He out of pocket. He ain't seen. So I'm awake. You don't think that Zan can play Jimmy?
I can play anybody. Are you kidding me? I don't even know who Jimmy is, but I'll play him.
You're perfect for that role. I just want to see you play that role. So you got to see that, man. Huh?
Jimmy, Pulp Fiction?
Yeah.
I think I'm more handsome than this dude. Jesus criminy.
It's Quentin Tarantino.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know Quentin Tarantino. I'm not a movie guy. I don't lie. People think I'm like a
not.
movie. I'm not a movie. When I say I'm not a movie guy, I mean like I am uncultured when it comes to movies, man.
I know you is. But yo, you remind me of fucking Jimmy. Like your personality is like Jimmy off of
Look at Burger King. He says, Akbar and Z, you guys look like dorks, a bunch of dorks. All right, Spurger. All right, Akbar. Any other thoughts on this team, brother? I don't want to get too far out of bounds here, but look, 14-3 finished up. You got the Packers coming in for the playoff game next week. Good season overall. What's your expectation, man? Is it Super Bowl or bust for you, or what?
I'm having a hard time with the Super Bowl or bust thing because, and I'm wanting to ask you that question as well, but I'm gonna answer it first. The reason why I'm having a hard time with it is because at the beginning of the season, I only had them winning 9-10 games. I didn't think they was going to win that many games. So they have already surpassed my expectations. However, the way the team is constructed, what they're doing, how they're winning, I do expect them to make it to the game. I don't want to I'm not going to say Super Bowl or bust for another reason, is because there's a couple good teams out there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that I mean, it's possible that the Eagles may not show up that day. It's just possible. As good as they are.
Football, man. That's what makes football.
Exactly. Exactly. As good as they are. It's not like we playing some ducks, like, you know what I'm saying, this postseason. Like, Minnesota ain't no fucking joke, dog. And neither is Detroit.
I'm excited for that game tonight. Who do you got in that game tonight?
I'm gonna say Detroit. I mean, if everybody playing, if everybody playing their starters, I'm gonna say Detroit.
They're playing their starters, man. Believe me, both those teams want the 1 seed.
I'm gonna go with Detroit tonight. Even though both of them have stellar, there's some good fucking teams, man. That's why I'm also glad that the Eagles didn't play their starters today. You know, I had said it on X, that Whatchamacallit been hobbling around, Mekhi Becton. I'm very concerned about that. What are your concerns going into this week?
Jalen, not from a play standpoint, not from like can he do it standpoint, but I think people are wrong about Rust, man. Like I don't to not play for 2 weeks, which will be 3 weeks for a guy that's not. He's not a quarterback that thrives on raw talent. You know what I mean by that? Like Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, even guys like Justin, they have this like raw Lamar Jackson. They have this raw talent about them that you never feel like they're going to get out of that. Or once they're back on the field, they're going to be good. Jalen is a rhythm guy. He wants to be in rhythm. He needs to get in motion. And I think missing 3 weeks is a little bit of an issue. I'm not saying it's going to be the end of us, but that's the one that if you had me to pick one concern for this game, that's my concern.
I don't think you got to worry about that because I think I heard Mac always said they play slow in the first half anyway.
Yeah, so do the Packers too. The Packers start slow too.
So his rhythm will gauge his rhythm at some point in the game. We just already know. Like we can't look like when the game start next week. We just got to understand that, first quarter, the first plays that they use ain't shit. For whatever reason today, the first plays that they used today worked well, and they got a touchdown, right? But they also had a lot of 3 and outs. And
once Goddard went out, the offense looked a little different.
Yeah, that's true. And between Jalen and Saquon, they've been moving them sticks, man. You've been saying that all season too. You said the bull's a chain mover. Even though everybody's bloviating and talking about how good Tanner McKee played today, he had some 3 and outs that looked suspect to me. And and it ain't no better than what Jalen Hurts could have did. The bull uses his legs way more than his arm. That's going to have to be okay. At the end of the day, we still got AJ Brown. We still got Smith. We still got Smith, Devontae Smith. And Barkley going to do his thing. Barkley's going to eat this week. I think Barkley is going to take everything out of this game and put it into this game. He fucking around had like 250 yards this game. We're going to beat the shit out of Green Bay Packers. They don't stand a chance in hell. We coming to get y'all. Yo Packers. We coming to get you. No, y'all going to come to us.
Yeah, they're coming to us.
Yeah, y'all got to come to the hood.
That's not like going to Dallas, man. They went to Dallas last year. This ain't like going to Dallas and going to Philly, man, in January.
Hell no.
I hope we're at a Sunday game. Can anybody in the chat tell me if they confirmed whether we're Sunday or Saturday or Monday yet? I'm waiting to see. I know we opened as 3.5-point favorites in the game, which is decent. But not that matters all that much. But all right, Akbar, good stuff, man. I'll talk to you next week after the playoff game, brother. Hopefully we're moving on to the divisional round.
Yes, sir. We got it, baby. Look at Clairvoyant.
What's that?
Look at Clairvoyant. If Hurts gets concussed again, we might see McKee. Come on, man. Let's stop talking like this, man. Only thing, listen, check, Zan, everybody. Check this out. Only person that I'm worried about I'm worried about Hurts. I'm worried about Hurts being worried about Hurts. If Hurts go in and he's cool up here, we're good.
He'll be good. I'm not worried about that. Jalen's pretty good mentally.
Well, as long as we got that, we is good, y'all. Like stop having this. Don't let Sills jerk your chain. Sills was talking some good shit today too. I don't know if he probably did it by accident. I don't think he did that shit on purpose. He said some real fly shit before he tailed off. He said some really, really good shit about the season. And but look, I ain't gonna hold you, homie. Do your thing, man. I'm gonna see you next week.
I appreciate you, man. Good stuff. Thanks for joining me. I'll talk to you next week. All right.
All right.
Thanks, brother. Good stuff there from Akbar. Got a couple more here. Not a big crowd. What happened, everybody? Everybody's ready for the playoffs, I think. Let's get to my man riding the bench coming up next here on the JAKIB Postgame Show. What's going on, my friend? How you feeling after the Birds win their 14th game of the year, brother?
Oh, I feel good. I'm ready for the postseason. I am. Yeah, I like.
About it?
Well,
Green Bay's coming to town.
I think it landed. I think if the standings stay the way they are right now, I think it's exactly the way Philadelphia needs it to be to get to an NCAA title game.
Really?
You host the Packers, and then if you assume the Rams will beat Washington, you play the Rams, and then I think Minnesota can knock off Detroit in Detroit. Like, I think that's going to happen because I think Minnesota, believe it or not, I think they're just better. I think tonight Detroit will win and get the 1 seed, but I think Minnesota can go on the road, can go over there and beat them. And if that's the case,
that rematch does look like it could be likely.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And like, I just never trust the dome team on the road. I'm just never going to do it, especially if the road team, especially if that dome team has to go outside. And if you got to play in Philly in an NFC title game, that is a tough ask for anybody. But again, I'm jumping the gun here. We got to beat Green Bay first.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Last year, Green Bay went on the road and gave it to the Cowboys. Who's to say that they're not thinking the same way, where they think they can come on the road and give us the business, So, but I think ideally, this is about where we need to be in Philadelphia. And
what about today? What'd you see today? What's anything stick out to you today? I know we've all kind of already turned the page in the game today because it was such a snooze fest, and we're all excited for the playoffs. But I did think Tanner McKee was pretty impressive. What did you see today?
Nothing surprised me about Tanner McKee. I think we talked about it last week. Like Tanner McKee, I always thought he was better than Kenny. And again, it's not about the arm strength of him. That's not his specialty. It's being on schedule, timing, anticipation, just getting the ball out. That'll never be out of style in the NFL. Doesn't matter what kind of quarterback you are. You could be Lamar, Josh. You could be anybody in the NFL. If you're not on schedule and on time when you need to be, it's tough to run an offense when you have a quarterback like that. You know what I mean? So if you're on schedule and on time, that's why guys love Kirk. That's why guys love Matt Stafford. That's why the guys love all these guys who are on schedule. And they're boring, but they put up a lot of yardage and they move the ball. Tanner McKee moved the ball today, albeit against the Giants. He moved the ball today because it was on schedule. And, that, again, that'll never go out of style. But we have Jalen Hurts coming back, and he's the wild card for this team because when things are not on schedule, he's the guy that can make the play more often than not than the other quarterback. And that's usually the difference in playoff games, especially because it's one and done.
Especially moving the chains like Akbar brought up. That's
man, it's one and done. And like you talked about him coming off of 3 weeks of not playing. He's not a drop back passer. That's not his game. He wants to be in rhythm, but like you can get him in rhythm by running a lot of quarterback draws or read option plays. All he has to do is get hit in the running game, and all of a sudden he's kind of back in the flow of the game. You've played before. You've played ball before. Right. You got to get that first shot in, get your nerves settled, and now you just start playing.
Exactly.
Yep. And like Jalen's too much of a gamer for I think that to be much of an issue going forward.
Yeah, so, I agree. Well, I'm going to ask you, Akbar, thank you for this question. I'm going to use it for everybody. Yep. What's your biggest concern about this team going into the playoffs? If you had to pick one.
Oh, damn, that's a good question. I think if we get into a situation where it doesn't go smoothly from the get-go, if we don't start with hitting the ground running, can this team will this team
right? We haven't really had a play behind 14.
We haven't had to do that yet, right? And I'm not concerned, believe it or not, with Jalen doing that because he has amnesia as a quarterback, where from drive to drive, play to play, whatever's behind them, that's it. It doesn't matter anymore.
It's true. It's one of his best traits.
Same thing with Eli. Eli had the same thing when he was in the playoffs. He was just an amnesia quarterback. And that's why he was so scary when the postseason time came. That's why I think Jalen Hurts can be a scary quarterback in the NFL in the postseason. So if we don't hit the ground running, that's probably my biggest concern for everybody else on the team, other than our biggest question mark, which is Jalen Hurts, ironically. So.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, brother. Thank you for checking in, man. Great talking with you. The next time we talk will be a much higher stakes conversation. It will be after the fact, but it'll be after a playoff game. This was after a Week 18 snooze fest. So
I know, man.
Forward to that, brother.
All right, brother. Appreciate it. Congrats on a great season, and hopefully you have more great seasons going ahead because this is your first year doing all the camera.
We're going to have so many seasons that people are going to be sick.
Hey, man. No, you were phenomenal this year.
They're going to be so sick of me, my friend. They're going to be sick of me, but they're not. They're going to keep listening.
Yeah,
all right, brother. Thank you, man.
Take care.
See you, man. Good stuff there. Got a couple more people. Got Clary, Voy, and Abe. I want to hit a couple comments real quick before I do that. Twiz, I think you're on the money, Twiz, as you usually are, Twiz. Twiz, and I think this was his response to the concern. He says, an elite passer picking our zone apart. That's a good concern. That's a real very possible concern there, Twiz. So good stuff, brother. That's definitely, yeah, that's why you don't want to see a guy like Stat. I don't know. How do you feel about Love with that, Twiz? I think we got dealt a pretty decent hand with Love. Love is one of those guys who shows a lot of promise, but sometimes he just doesn't look like he can put it all together. But good stuff there, Twiz. One other comment I wanted to respond to. Let me find it. It was from my man Slagger. Where is it, Slagger? Where are you? He goes, Slagger says, where's that quarter zip on the merch site? Slagger, this is right here. This is an exclusive, not to be sold to the public gift that was given to me for Christmas by my beautiful girlfriend. She got this custom made, and it's this like really nice golf brand. Slagger, I know you're a golfer. You'd love this thing. I got to maybe get it up there. It would be the most expensive thing on the merch site for sure. All right, but it's not for sale right now. Maybe I can make it happen though, Slagger. Let's go to my man Clary Voy, and then I got Abe coming up next. All right, Clary Voy, what's going on, brother? How you feeling?
What's going on?
Not much, man.
Man, playoffs, dude.
Yeah, playoffs are here.
I'm ready for the playoffs. It was cool though.
Did you get your jersey? I sent it out.
No, I haven't got it yet.
I sent it out on Thursday or Friday, so I knew it wouldn't get there probably till Monday or Tuesday. So I'm looking forward to you getting that. You better join the show next week in that thing.
I'm stoked, man. I'm stoked. I can't wait. And you got to think too. They deliver the mail here by horse.
No way.
No, I'm just messing with you, dude. But I live in the boonies. You know what I'm saying? So,
I know you live in the boonies.
I live in a log cabin.
About your log cabin. I thought for a second you had me duped. I'm like, is this motherfucker about to get a jersey delivered by a horse? No way. What'd you think of today's game, though, brother?
Oh man, the passing offense looked better. You know, so you can kind of see what Moore and also Sirianni, the kind of quarterback they actually want to coach. You know,
right.
But I think we're a better team with Jalen. You know, our pass game is definitely better with McKee. No doubt about that. But when it comes to, dude, like, I don't think McKee would be able to go and Paul Revere. Yeah. I don't see McKee when he really needs to push the ball, man. I just don't see it. Maybe in time I might be wrong, but I don't know. I think Jalen, the unscripted stuff, and then like just willing his will of what he wants. There you go, man. Like I think man, the playoffs are setting up perfectly. There's a lot of things, man, that are looking good. You know, even playing Green Bay, like people would be like, oh, well, going to Philly, they're used to that kind of bad environment. Their team's broken, you know. Everything's just lining up. So hopefully it sticks to that, you know.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. What do you think of Green Bay coming in here? First playoff game, wild card game, Green Bay coming to Philly. Jordan Love, they're down a receiver. We'll see if Watson can play, but what do you think of that matchup for the round one for the Birds?
I think the Eagles should beat them probably by about 20. I think they're that much better of a team. As long as they don't let their run game
a playoff win by 20. Wow.
Yeah, like I think we're that much better than them, especially with them being hurt. I don't really think that's going to be much of a game, to be honest with you. If they don't look past them, of course, because I think that's what Dallas did last year. They looked past them. And then the other thing is Dallas is just a different environment, you know.
Yeah, way different.
So so it's just not the same, you know. But man, I really think if the Eagles control it, because remember they beat them pretty good in Brazil. That was our home game. Remember, we lost a home game for that shit earlier in the season.
Right.
So I think it's going to be a lot better than what people expect. And then plus we have tape on them too. A lot of tape.
Yeah. I don't think I think they've fallen off too. You know, playoffs sometimes is about getting hot at the right time. I think Green Bay's tapered off a little bit toward the end of the season here. They were hot. They looked real good at one point, but I think they've tapered off a little bit.
That was about 5 weeks ago. They looked really good.
I know.
Because even some of their wins that they've had recently have not looked good. They're pulling a hat out of their ass basically at the end of the game. So I don't know, man. It's we'll see. I'm more excited to kind of see everyone. Tampa Bay should be terrifying to the teams playing tonight, because any team that's playing tonight, it's like, man, we got to go to Tampa. They already beat They already beat a healthy. Remember that team was healthy, Detroit, when they lost to them.
Right.
And then the other thing is Sam Darnold. Is he going to have like the oh my god, the lights are here again? It reminds me of New York and have flashbacks and just play
Yeah.
like crap because he's in the smallest market of the NFL or damn near it. So he's kind of forgotten about and he's just playing football. But when you get in the playoffs, it's going to bring back New York.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if he can get the 1 seed tonight and beat Detroit, that would be a big help for those concerns. I'm sure people in Minnesota have those concerns as well. What is your biggest concern about this team as they about to embark on their 2025 playoff run?
Jake Elliott. Jake Elliott's kind of terrifying right now. Jake Elliott
stinks.
Yeah, he's not very good. He's missing stuff that he would never even dream about missing. And then, I mean, you got to be nervous also too about Jalen. Did he hit his head and all of a sudden he's 2022 Hurts? Or did he hit his head and then nothing changed? I don't know. We'll find out.
I don't know about that. I don't want to think about that, but
I mean, dude, he might come out and he might be just a different person. And then if that's the case, I'm all for it, So I don't really know what to think about Hurts. 29 or whatever it is, 2903. That's not very intriguing with this kind of offense that we have, where you can have backups look like starters. I don't know, man. So realistically, I mean, you could be like, yeah, Hurts is kind of terrifying because if he shows up, we're good. If he doesn't show up, that's a huge wild card going into a playoff game.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to dispute a comment here with you on the air, Clary Boy. Anthony says it was windy today. I'm going to give Elliott a pass. Brother, this is his worst kicking percentage across a season since 2020 when most people in Philly wanted him gone.
Do you remember he made a 61-yarder? What was that, Chicago?
New York. That was versus New York. I think that was in 2021 or 2022. Was that the Super Bowl year?
I don't remember.
Super Bowl year. I think that was a Super Bowl year. So, Jake Elliott, this is not a good year for him, brother. This is a bad year for him. I know it was windy today, but he hooked that kick, man. I'm almost at a point where I don't even trust him on point afters, dude.
Yeah, he's missed extra points. He's missed anything past 45 yards. I have like my fingers crossed. Anything past 50, I'm just going to walk away because he usually misses it,
I know.
So it's kind of scary. And think about all those Super Bowls that have been won off of, Adam Vinatieri. Or
playoffs kickers become even more important, man. So we'll say thank you for joining today, brother. I can't wait for you to get your jersey and everything. Thanks for being such a great supporter of the channel, brother. It means a lot to me, and I'll catch up with you next week. All right, brother?
Sounds good. See you.
All right, man. Thank you. Good stuff from Clary Void. Appreciate him checking in today. Philly Don, I did see your tweet to me. Abe, what's going on, Abe? I'm coming to you in a sec. Let me read one super chat here. JH says, what does Super Bowl or bust even mean? Blow up the team, say they suck all offseason? Probably that, JH. If we're being real, JH, that's probably what it means. If they don't get there, you shit on them all offseason. That's what we do, Jay. We're Philadelphians, JH. We're either in pure joy or pure misery. There's no in between, my friend. People forgetting to enjoy the game. It's a great team. We are lucky. You're all right, JH. Thank you, brother. I appreciate the super chat, man. And you bring up a good point. What the hell does Super Bowl or bust even mean? Let's go to the main man, the man of the hour, Abe, coming in here now in the JAKIB Postgame Show. What's up, Abe? How you feeling, brother?
What's up, man? How you doing, Zander?
I'm feeling good, man. You looking good? You feeling good? You got the Eagles lid on today. What do you think? 14 wins this year, man.
I'll say this. You guys got a sober Abe today. Got somebody that's at work doing his damn thing.
I like it.
So I'm good.
You're working hard, man. You're making the country go around, man. That's good stuff by you.
You got it. I ain't watched the game. I'll say that. I tried to watch the fucking game, but damn stream kept fucking up.
Oh.
But from what I'm hearing from the chat, from J Mac, from Sills, you, I mean, no shit. Kellen Moore did good with a pocket passing quarterback.
Yeah, right.
Like, he had Dak Prescott, #1 offense in the whole league. He had to adjust to this new scheme, I would say. New running scheme from Jalen, RPOs and all that. Like, ain't that bad. I'm not saying it's awful, but, like, you can see the clicks in there. And you can see that the receivers want the ball. And also the O-line, like the backup O-line, I ain't see them. But I'm going to say it already. I already know they did good because of Stout.
They did. Yeah, they did. They did good. No doubt. I think it's a good takeaway by you, by the way. From a guy that didn't watch the game, it's simple where you're like, hey, listen, Kellen was good with a pocket passer. It's different for him with Jalen. It's a good take by you. It's I didn't even say that all show, but it is accurate. What do you think of Packers, man, coming in for the playoff game?
Man, I was watching that game and I was watching Washington game. Man, I'm not scared of none of them. The defense is ass. The O-line is ass. They only have good receivers. Jordan Love, he's here, there, just like Aaron Rodgers now. I mean, hey, Washington, they couldn't even score more than 20 points today.
Right.
So, and they had their starters out against a backup quarterback again. So it's like, there's nothing to be afraid of. But the only thing I am afraid of going in is this is most likely the first playoff as rookies and for almost Jalen Carter. Because last year in the Bucs game, that wasn't him.
I know. It's a good point.
So Jordan Davis made it up over there, but he wasn't playing.
I think we'll be good, though. I don't think I can worry too much about that.
I mean, it's Q's first time. Who else is first time? DeJean's first time. On offense, it's Becton's first time.
Right.
I don't even know if Calcaterra was in there last year, but
right.
So I'm worried about just how we're gonna come in and our attitude towards the game. Yeah, I think what was it? Riding the bench said how will we be being behind the score? That's one thing I worry about. Is that gonna get? That was
clairvoyant, yeah.
Oh, clairvoyant. Whoever is that gonna get to your fucking head to the point that you're not gonna fucking play?
I know.
That shit better come the fuck out. I don't want to deal with that shit. That's why I do like the way Jalen Hurts, coordinates with the offense. He's next play, it is what it is. We go into the next shit. But with the new upcoming players and all that, we got Nolan Smith on the side, Jalen Hunt on the side. This is their first time too.
Yeah, no, hey, listen, it's a good point, but there's a lot of those young guys that are contributors on this team. It's a fair point. We'll see. We'll see how it all plays out, man.
Fucking cold feet. That's one damn sure.
Yeah. No, you're right. All right, brother. I appreciate you joining in, man. Any other final thoughts before we get next time I talk to you? It'll be after a playoff game, so it'll be a little bit higher implications in that one. But any other final thoughts before I let you run?
I would say to Akbar's point, they did exceed our expectations. They answered the questions that needed to be answered. We know Jalen is not that pocket passer. We know we expect him to be. But hey, you gotta have to accept it for next 2-3 years. Hopefully, Kellen Moore does something with it.
Hopefully, brother. From your lips to God's ears. Appreciate you, Abe. I appreciate you, bro. I'll talk to you next week.
Go Birds.
Good stuff. Go Birds. Good stuff from the great Abe. I love the great people of JAKIB Nation. Only 4 today. I had Akbar, I had Ride on the bench, I had Clary Voy, and I had Abe. That was fun, though. That was fun. I'll take a couple more chats before we get out of here. This is a shorter post-game show today. I got a couple of production things to do on the fly. What up? Good stuff, Abe. Yeah, Abe was great, as always. Abe, thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Abe, the people are saying you got tits. I don't know how you want to respond to them, dude. That's going to be on you, Abe. I'm going to let you handle that, Abe. All right, brother. All right, Abe. Yo, No Limit, you're in here. What the hell are you? No Limit. No Limit. What are you doing, No Limit? You know I'm waiting for my boy, No Limit. Find the link. Get in here. All right, we got the Green Bay Packers, everybody. First round of the playoffs. First round of the playoffs. Green Bay Packers coming to Philly. You know what? I feel phenomenal about this matchup. I feel phenomenal about this matchup, guys. I think this is the best matchup we could have gotten. Now that I'm looking at the NFC playoff picture, you're looking at the Eagles are in, the Lions are in, the Vikings are in, the Rams, the Bucks, the Commanders, and the Packers. I don't know if there's a better team. I don't want to play Stafford and the Rams, although they're not that good. I don't want to play them for the same reason that Twiz said. You can find a good veteran quarterback that dices up his own. I don't want to play them. I don't want to play the Buccaneers because they got our number. And Todd Bowles seems to be Jalen Hurts' kryptonite. So I don't want to see them. I damn sure don't want to see the Lions with the Vikings. I think the Packers might be the best. I think the Packers might be the best matchup for us in round one. So we'll see. Mad Max checks in. Xander, will you bench Hurts if the offense goes stagnant versus the Packers? I mean, it depends how stagnant, Mad Max. If we have 0 points at halftime and we got 15 passing yards, you got to think the coaching staff will do whatever it takes to win a football game, right? Right, Matt? I mean, you would think. I mean, you're at the point of the season now where you're not saving anybody or anything for any time. All right. It's no holds barred. It's everything out every game, and you go for the win. If it really sucks, maybe, but Mad Max, it hasn't been that bad. Like, can we find a game where Jalen looks like Jalen should have been benched? I don't think so. I don't think it's going to happen. Oh my God, Bonehead, you got to be kidding! Look at it. This is the most bonehead Jeffrey Bone, the Bonehead comment you'll ever read. Jeff Bone, the Bonehead says, didn't even know the game was done. I got to stop effing with these edibles, bro. Yo, Bonehead, I can picture you right now, zooted to the high heavens, sitting on your couch, passed the hell out. You wake up and you're like, holy shit, the game ended hours ago. Let me load up Jacob. Yeah, stoned head. Oh my God, Bonehead. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. Let me double check on everything on the production end. Any other comments? I'll take a couple other comments. I want to hear what you guys think of this playoff game. All right. What do you guys think of this playoff game coming up versus the Packers? I think it's a great matchup for us. And I told you why I think it's a great matchup. And I just think when you look at these 7 playoff teams in the NFC, I think we really got a favorable matchup. And by the way, I think they're the team that is the least in rhythm right now. The Commanders didn't play great today, but I think they're on a fine rhythm right now. They obviously beat us. The Rams have come alive a little bit. They're resting everybody today, but they got over the double-digit win mark. I think the Buccaneers are a team you obviously don't want to play for obvious reasons, and obviously the Vikings and the Lions are the other two. I think we got the most favorable matchup we could have in round number 1. Joe Whip, what's up, Joe? Good to see you, my friend. Yo, Joe, are you a lunatic? Joe, this is going to be my new question for you. Are you insane, Joe? Did you say you were golfing today? Oh, no, you're in Florida. Never mind, Joe. I take it back. I'm like, it's 24 degrees outside, and you're telling me you just got back from golfing? You're a sick mother effer. But you're in Florida, I think. That makes more sense, Joe. I forgot. I was about to be like, Joe, you're on something. I would not be golfing in 24-degree weather. But that's right. I got you, brother. You're in Naples. All right, all good. You got a pool out back, Joe? 75. You got a pool out back to dip in after your round? A little saltwater pool? Nothing like that in Naples. This Burger King says Bonehead because he always got a joint behind it. Did Bonehead follow up to his edible comment? That was a hilarious comment. Where is Bonehead? Philadelphia, good take, my man. Good take. He says there's no such thing as a suck team in the playoffs. My fellow Eagles fans, now is not the time to sleep on teams, but to pounce on these teams. I like that. Philadelphia, I like that, my guy. That's good stuff right there. That is good stuff right there. You're right. You don't want to sleep on anybody. That's for sure. But I do feel good about the matchup, Philadelphia. You got to analyze for where we are, who we're playing, what we're going up against. I think it's a good, favorable matchup for the Birds. Yeah, Philly Don, you're right. He passed back out. Cheapskate says, folks need to stop overreact. I don't think anybody's overreacting. Does anybody really think that Tanner McKee should be our starting quarterback? I mean, I don't think people think about that. I don't think people think that. I think it's like fun for a minute because you're trying to like Cheapskate. Well, for me, I'm trying to make the most out of the game I'm watching. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't snooze fest week 18 game. I'm doing a pre and post game show no matter who they play. I'm trying to make the most out of the game, so I'm enjoying watching Tanner McKee. I want to see what he can do. I don't think people really overreact to that. Maybe a couple, no limits, probably right. A couple people do. I don't think anybody really. Matt Bird, maybe with the eye emoji. Maybe. Chiefs are losing 31-0. Carson stinks. Joe, I agree. The Packers are not that team. They are not that squad. Not right now, they're not. Not right now, they're not. But, we'll see how it all plays out, everybody. Playoffs are here. I can't believe the regular season is officially wrapped up and in the books, but it is. A couple more games tonight, and we'll see. What do you guys? That Lions game should be a good one. I told you I have the Lions, so Mad Max. Offense has been stagnant all year besides Saquon. I don't believe we make the playoffs if you don't have Saquon because of the inability to pass with Hurts. Well, I don't disagree that Saquon's obviously been the catalyst for the offense, but we made the playoffs the 2 years prior without Saquon. Helps if you read more than the first 5 words. Sorry, dude, I'm on the fly. I'm trying to read. Did you say something different? Also, what I said was a perfect reaction to your full comment. We see Pickett and McKee do a few good things, and suddenly folks think Hurts is Ty Detmer. Again, didn't change anything. So I don't know why you made a stink about not reading the full thing. I clearly got what you were saying. Zander, Matt LaFleur doesn't sway your opinion in them being the 8th overall defense. I will say no limit. They're I think the Eagles and the Packers are the only 2 teams in the NFL that are top 10 in all categories, defense and offense. Not passing, offense and defense as a whole. So, that's a good point. I mean, they do have a solid defense. They, let's look up the Packers' recent games. See what they've done. They gave up 24 to the lowly Bears. Like, we're going to score 30. The Bears scored 24. We're going to score 30. I got you, cheapskate. Sorry, man. It's hard to decipher who's talking to me, who's talking to other people in the chat. They gave up 27 to the Vikings. They gave up 0 to the Saints. Only 13 to the Seahawks. They gave up 34 to the Lions, which is about on cue for the Lions. Only 17 to the Dolphins. So they got a solid defense, but it's not a world beater. It's not a world beater. So we'll see. We'll see what goes on, man. We'll see how it all plays out. I'm looking forward to it. Should be a big week of shows, everybody. Stay tuned in. I'll be doing some giveaways this week. We'll do a bunch of those, and I'm looking forward to talking to everybody all week long for the playoffs. It's now heightened, right? The Eagles have to up their game. You know who else has to up their game? Me. I have to up my game. Better content, more content, longer content, better topics. You name it. We got to do it. It's playoff football. It's playoff content, everybody. I'm looking forward to doing it. Akbar's got the Lions tonight. Anybody got the Vikes tonight? Joe Whipp says his money's on the Vikings. Philly Don says Minnesota by 10. I don't see that, man. Philly Don, I love you, but I'm going to go ahead and say that won't happen. All right. Now, if you're wrong, if I'm wrong, I'll give you the credit. If I'm wrong, I'll give you the credit. Anthony Lear, they fired the Patriots coach. I saw that. Gerard Mayo. I never thought he was the right coach anyway for them, but he's replacing Bill Belichick. That's a tough thing to do. Bob Brown, thank you, brother. Appreciate that. They're up 31-0 going into the 4th. Yeah, the Denver's good. We'll see. All right, everybody. I appreciate you all for watching, man. That's going to do it for the show today. Stay tuned, everybody, for the Birds 365 in the morning and the National Football Show, 2 to 6 tomorrow. Looking forward to the content, like I mentioned. There you go. That's a good comment. Z's win-loss prediction was a lot closer than Sills' was. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. I was closer than J-Mac, too. Don't let J-Mac off the hook. J-Mac said 10. He said 11, but if he had to go up or down, he would go down to 10 instead of up to 12. All right? So don't let J-Mac off the hook either. Big Z, the youngster, checking both of the old heads. Holy shit. Philly Matt, I told y'all. Good stuff, Philly Matt. Pat Ryan, thank you, brother. Thanks for being here, my man. I appreciate it. Jay Sill said 10. Yes, Neil. He said, that's what he said. So we did the win-loss. And Jody Mack used to do an exercise of like pick to how many wins they get, but if you had to pick to go up 1 win or down 1 win, what would you do? So like if you picked them to go 12-5, would you be more comfortable saying they'll go 13-4, or would you pick them to go 11-6? So John picked 11-6, and then he picked, if I had to go up or down, I would go down. I'd go down to 10. Now I went 13-4, and if I had to go up or down, I'm going up to 14. Neil, good stuff. You said 12. That's good. I said 13-4. That's pretty damn good too, man. Thank you, Mad Max. You're killing it, Xander. Realest bird show out, not hiding shit like Lurie. Yeah. No, we'll never hide anything, man. Big Trag, what's up, my guy? Fly Eagles fly. Fly Eagles fly, brother. Appreciate you checking in. Appreciate all you guys, man. A lot of fun. Martin, I saw nothing yet. And any news on when we play? I'm on the air, Martin, so I haven't had a chance to obviously lock into all the things that are coming out right now. I will double check on everything once I get there or once I get off the air. But overall, I think I'm feeling like it's going to be Sunday, but there's no announcement yet. No announcement yet. So we will see what all ends up happening. Good stuff, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for doing it today. Clary Vu, I see you still in there. Thank you, brother. Thanks, Abe. Akbar, good stuff, brother. And riding the bench. Thanks, all you guys, for doing it today. And I'll catch you next time on JAKIB Sports. Thanks, everyone.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
We noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES. Eagles.